Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by SourceVibrations.com. Hi, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is August the 3rd. We have a great show planned for you tonight. Tonight's topic, I have been waiting quite a while to do this, and I finally felt it was the time to do this show. So tonight's topic is the making of a Messiah. So we are going to get into, how leaders rise to power with that Messiah title, as well as the fake movements that are going on. So I must say, this is going to be a hot one tonight because we going through all of the groups. So this is not just going to be the get-on folks that follow religion/Christianity. We going through all of them because the trick that I have been noticing lately is that it's switched from your traditional religion to other things. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. I do want to do a little follow-up on our show last week. We got cut off, Blog Talk cut us off, so that's why we abruptly got cut off. I did want to conclude with one last thing from last week's topic on the shift and ascension. So we'll do that for a couple minutes, and then we'll get into the topic of tonight, the making of a Messiah. So with that said, I am going to bring in my co-host, my lovely panel. So Brother Wendell, come on. I see Sis, and I see Brother Sean. So let me bring on Brother Wendell. Let me see here. Greetings, brother.
Greetings. Oh, man. I like black-eyed peas and mashed potatoes and tomatoes up in here. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you got on your menu tonight?
I done did the damage. You heard what I'm saying?
Man, that sounds good. Oh, I love black-eyed peas. I don't eat them as much as I should, but man, you making me kind of want to make a pot. I thought about you because I had ran up on this Indian store, and because I like to go into the different nationalities stores because you find some really good stuff, especially seasoning and spices, because they like use the dried pure stuff. So I had went in this one Indian store, and they had some beans, and it said brown beans. So I said, you know what? Let me give this a try. And they had some slamming spices too. So I used the spices for some other dishes. But the brown beans, guess what the brown beans were, Brother Wendell?
It's just like pinto.
No, this particular brown beans, because they had a name in their language, and then they had brown beans, but they were really little. I cooked them, Brother Wendell, they Crowder peas. I slammed. Do you hear me? I'm like, oh, this is their version of Crowder peas. They call it brown beans. Well, when I cooked it, I mean, we know how Crowder peas taste. Well, that's what we call it in the South anyway. I don't know what anybody else calls it, but I said, wait till I tell Brother Wendell.
Yeah, it's a brown beans out there just like a pinto bean too.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look for that. Well, the Indians, they're calling the little bitty Crowder peas brown beans.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look for the other pintos that you talk about, and it could be another variation of Crowder peas. But they were really good. I showed slammed. I said, let me tell Brother Wendell I got my eat on with some beans. So, all right, brother. Well, good hearing your voice.
Yeah.
Let me bring in Brother Sean, and then I'm going to bring in Sis Sandra. So here we go right quick. Greetings, brother. How are you?
Greetings, beloved. I'm well. Brother Wendell, how are you?
How you doing, brother? I'm all right.
I hear it. I hear it over there with that menu jumping off. That's what I'll be waiting to hear.
No. We all be waiting to hear, okay, what did Brother Wendell cook this week? What he either just got through eating or he's in the process of eating on the show.
Right.
But he slammed. That's a good menu.
You know I got to do it.
I know, all the time.
That's what's up, though.
Oh, boy. All right, let me bring in Sis Sandra right quick. Greetings, sis. How are you?
Greetings. I'm fine, thank you. How about yourselves?
I'm well.
All right. How you doing, sister?
I'm doing good, thank you, brother. I'm doing wonderful. I have to listen to my menu for this week from Wendell, because Wendell's going to plan my menu.
I know, isn't that right?
I forgot to tell you about the other item. Get you make you some of that good veggie cornbread. Put you some.
I was thinking about cornbread. I was just about to say you forgot the cornbread.
Yeah, put you some onions and tomatoes and red and green bell peppers now, some dried tomatoes if you feel like it, or some okra, or and then sprinkle you some black caraway seed on the top of that thing.
Now that is slamming.
That sounds good. I think I'm going to try that one out.
Yeah, that's like another side dish within itself. I'm going to definitely have to give that a little try.
I got to show y'all a little something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shoot, because you the one got me back into really eating my beans at least once a week. I'm like,
I had I know what you mean.
Yeah, sis, so I did take one. Sorry, family, we always got to go over Brother Wendell. Brother Wendell started it. He has to tell us what he ate. Then we all have to share quick recipes. So bear with us. We've been doing this for a minute. So, sis, update on that veggie chorizo.
It's veggie chorizo, and you just, kind of like fry it a little bit. I had some with some pinto beans, some brown beans or red beans.
Interesting.
Yeah, I sure did this week. And I said, this was good. And then, of course, I didn't make the cornbread to go with it. I just had the Texas style with beans and rice.
Yeah, because I'm going to do mine tomorrow. I'm going to make me like a southwestern bowl with some of the Crowder peas and some brown rice, and put that chorizo in there. So I thought about you because I went to Trader Joe's and stocked up on it. Although you can't eat a lot of it because of the soy, but I thought about you as well.
And it's just a little pack anyway. It's like 99 cents.
Yeah.
In there. But I just figure it every once in a blue moon, even if I do eat some plastic. Once in a blue moon,
oh, boy, what you say? Every blue moon.
Plastic. That's funny. That's bad, though, but it's funny.
Yeah, I know, but that's the reality of it. Shoot.
It is. And everything we eat on this planet, you have to be careful of it. It's not healthy for you anymore, unfortunately.
No, it's not. That's why you got to change that vibration. I'm sorry. Go ahead on, Brother Wendell.
Now, I know you referred to that right. Get you some black rice or some gray owl wild rice.
Now,
Then
I just got on the wild rice, but you cannot find that black rice unless in like regular stores. I'm having a hard time finding it.
Yes, you can. They got it. You have to know where it is. They got it.
Yeah, and I haven't found out yet, but I've had it before, and it's the most flavorful rice it is, and we shouldn't be surprised because it's black rice, but it's hard to find.
Is that a hint?
Well, I'm just being accurate, but it is the most flavorful for sure. Okay, family. All right, so I wanted to do a quick update from last week when we got rudely cut off from the show, The Shift and Ascension. So we talked about the concept of there being a Mount Meru, and if you remember the video I played last week, the particular brother was breaking down how the Aurora Borealis, that's the video that I played, and he was basically explaining the center of Mama Earth and how that Aurora Borealis is created, where you have the black sun underneath us. That's really the generator, and that's how that green Aurora Borealis, and we also talked about sometimes you'll see the purple hue as well in the sky, but the black sun creates it. But in the middle of Mama Earth, that is the energy center, and that's what some of the ancients call Mount Meru. So I'm minding my business as I normally do. And so, I also want to say that in that video, he talked about that Mount Meru can represent a gateway to different dimensions. And then we also heard, what is his name? Enoch talk about the portal as well. He also said that he believed that it was the entry to inner earth. Interestingly enough, he also said that that's what some people feel, that Mount Meru, what they call the Tower of Babel. That's what really that Tower of Babel was really about, controlling that particular gateway to stop folks from being closer to the source. Okay, and in other words, the beings controlling that gateway and making the people look to them as gods. Okay, so I'm minding my business, and guess what movie that I see that's coming out actually tomorrow with my husband? He don't know that he's my husband, but he is. I'm joking. My boy Idris. It's called Dark Tower. So I just saw the advertisement, and I said, whoa, wait a minute. So anybody, if you catch that advertisement, you're going to see them talk about this dark tower, and it's going to be this energy light shooting up. And you'll also see them flashing images of the new One World Trade Center, which folks say also that was kind of a symbol of the new Tower of Babel. So the description for the new movie Dark Tower is Roland Deschain, which is played by my husband, who don't know he's my husband, Idris Elba. The last gunslinger is locked in an eternal battle with Walter O'Dim, who Matthew McConaughey is playing him. And they're saying that his character is also known as the Man in Black. The gunslinger, which is Idris, must prevent the Man in Black from toppling the Dark Tower, the key that holds the universe together, with the fate of the worlds, plural, at stake. two men collide in the ultimate battle between good and evil. So I'm sitting there as I saw this advertisement, and then I go look up a little bit more detail on what the movie is saying that it's about. And I'm like, okay, so they're putting this movie out for a reason. And we've talked about that several times on this show, that every time, you want to know either from a energy perspective, I'm going to always say it's always from an energy perspective, what's really going on, pay attention to the particular movies that they're putting out. Because, to be honest, most of the truth are being put out in the movies, especially the sci-fis, and they throw it a lot in the cartoons. Okay, and nowadays a lot of the what do you call them? The DC action movies that came out of the comic strips, and actually the comic strips are really just a take on ancient texts and ancient mythologies. Okay, so anyway, so I'm thinking about this movie, and I'm saying to myself, is this movie a representation of the struggle for the patriarch or the male-dominated entities trying to keep control over Mama Earth? And the control over Mama Earth, hint, is the control over that tower, or the control over what the ancients call Mount Meru, which is really just a fancy way or a simplistic way of saying her energy center. Okay, so I'm sitting there thinking, now, is this movie trying to show two patriotic or male-dominated forces trying to control Mama Earth's energy source as she starts to ascend, as she is ascending and as she's coming back into her own, turning it back over to a matriarch society? Or is the movie representing the shift that Mama Earth is currently experiencing, or as she's ascending and coming back into power, and other entities trying to prevent it? So I thought that was interesting that last week, as part of the show, The Shift and Ascension, we kind of touched on Mount Meru, which represents Mama Earth's energy center, as we were chopping it up on the video, the Aurora Borealis. And sure enough, they're releasing that movie, The Dark Tower. It's actually being released in theaters tomorrow. So I'm going to definitely check it out on the weekend, and then I'll report back to the family. So with that said, I'll pause in case somebody else has something they want to put on it before we move on.
Well, they have that Planet of the Apes trailer come out, and they're trying to show the fight between the apes and the humans. And of course, you know who and what is his name? Caesar is supposed to be
Caesar, the lead one.
The leader, and I was wondering, what's that all about? Are they going to try to fight? The males are going to fight each other for dominance, and like as usual, the females are going to be left out, they think. And I'm like, they're using weaponry against us that we don't have. I saw the weapons they were using against the apes were more advanced than what we have to fight with, and so on and so forth. But I haven't seen the movie, but I saw their depiction in that trailer. Anybody have any comments on that one? Because it was kind of weird.
Now, that's interesting that you bring that up, sis, because I was out last night with some people, and they brought up, they saw the new Planet of the Apes. I haven't seen it yet. And so they were like, yeah, you need to hurry up and see that and let me know what you think about it, because their take on it was like yours, sis, that the apes represented, you know, the melanated folks, and then the other folks were those that are in control. And so it was like the original melanated folks, the apes, versus the controllers. So now, interestingly enough, I was sharing with the person that the original Planet of the Apes in the 60s, either the 60s or 70s, don't quote me. I had to go back and watch it. This was years ago I watched it, because someone pulled my coattail and said that movie, folks think that it was about the melanated folks being the apes, but it really wasn't about the melanated folks being the apes. It was the opposite, meaning it was about the Caucasian race being the apes and the melanated folks being the oppressors, because that's how it originally went. And so, you know, it's going to be interesting. I've seen the newer versions of the Planet of the Apes that have come out with Caesar, the lead ape, doing his thing. And I think this is just based on the past ones that I've seen, that they're mixing it both. So meaning they're really not distinguishing between the melanated and the Caucasian race. They're really mixing up both theories, and it's more about some group of folks trying to dominate another group of folks. And the reason I say that was because when they first introduced that series, the one that's out now, Caesar kind of gathered all the other species per se to try to overthrow or get from under the slavery system of the oppressors. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to try to check that one out as well to see what angle they're going for. But I know, just based on what I've seen with the other ones, I think they mixed a lot of theories in with that. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, you know, the Yakub story would match what your friend said, you know, where the apes are that Yakub story would do that. But then you also have the fact that the Adamic race is supposed to be the Yakub creation too. So it's like, okay, so we got a lot of theories going on that one. Right.
Yeah. So really, really interesting. So, but yeah, somebody else just asked me about that last night about the new Planet of the Apes. So I'll have to check that one out, and we'll chop it up about that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving right along, going to tonight's topic, the making of a Messiah. So now I'm going to put this out here again. For those of you that this show is going to be pretty hard-hitting, it's going to step on a lot of toes. So, you know, if you get your feelings hurt, you get your feelings hurt. It is what it is. Okay, so the purpose of this show is to go through all of the particular dogmas at a high level, whether that be an established religious organization or what I've been seeing over the last, I want to say 5 years, the not so traditional organization. So we're going to discuss how folks come into these titles or these roles of putting themselves to be a Messiah. So this is not just going to be about Christianity or any other religion or the Islam, whether it be the Catholic Church, et cetera, et cetera. Those of you that are into consciousness, higher consciousness, that's pretty easy for you. You know, that's how a lot of us started waking up out of consciousness once we broke the spell of religion. We're going to go into a deeper level and go behind the scenes of why in this particular realm folks continue to cling on to this concept of a Messiah. So this is what this show is about. So we're going to get right into it. Okay, so Messiah. I'm going to start with the typical definition of what a Messiah is. In religions, the Messiah, and that is Hebrew, is the one chosen to lead the world and thereby save it. The term also appears in the form of Messiah, and that's the Greek terminology, Christ, or Al-Masih. The concept of Messiah and the Messianic age grew from Isaiah's writings, chapter 4, verse 2, and chapter 11, during the later half of the 8th century BCE. The term comes from the Hebrew verb meaning to apply oil, to anoint. And hopefully from last week's show when we talked about ascension, you got the concept of what that Christ term really means. It is the higher consciousness of you reaching your crown chakra to get to the higher realms of the universe to tap into those energy sources, okay? So that's where, you know, in religion, when you see them talk about to anoint, and they always anointing it on the forehead, that's going to represent your pineal gland. Or when you see the babies, when they call it baptize the babies? I don't know if they call Christian. I think it's Christianing or something like that. The babies in some of the other religions, they, you know, pour the water on the head. That's all symbolism for really that crown chakra, okay? So we kind of went over that last week, but I'm just trying to, as I go through their definition, put it back into content of what it really means. Okay, so in the Hebrew Bible, Israel's kings were sometimes called God's Messiah, God's anointed one. A Messiah could also be anointed high priest or prophet. Messiahs did not even need to descend from Jacob, as the Hebrew Bible refers to Cyrus, the great king of Persia, as a Messiah for his decree to rebuild the Jerusalem temple. And so then it goes on to say, in Judaism, the Jewish Messiah, often referred to as King Messiah, is expected to descend from King David and accomplish the unification of 12 tribes into re-establishing a nation. The Jerusalem temple's rebuilding will issue in a Messianic age or of global peace. In Christianity, the Messiah is called the Christ, the ancient Greek translating the Hebrew word of the same meaning. The concept of the Messiah in Christianity originated from the Messiah in Judaism. However, unlike the concept of the Messiah in Judaism and Islam, the Messiah in Christianity is the Son of God. Christ became the accepted Christian designation and title Jesus of Nazareth because Christians believe that Messianic prophets in the Christian Old Testament were fulfilled in his mission, death, and resurrection. Sorry, family. They believe that Christ will fulfill the rest of the Messianic prophecies in the second coming, specifically the prophecy of a future leader who will come from the David line and usher in either a temporary Messianic age or a permanent world to come. In Islam, Jesus was a prophet, and the Messiah in Islam sent to the Israelites and will return to earth at the end of time along with the Mahdi and defeat the Masih al-Dajjal, the false Messiah. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest. So it's just going through the different, not only is it giving you what the definition of a Messiah is, but it's giving you based on the religion, ideology, how that term was derived. Okay, so we all know what a Messiah is. So now what I want to do is go even deeper behind that, because hopefully we all know that the Messiah concept is really built across all traditional religions. That should be nothing new to any of us here. We're going to now go behind the scenes and go a little deeper on why the world is so fascinated with and why they continue to look for a Messiah. Okay, now, Brother Wendell, you gonna know where I'm going with this, because you did an outstanding job when you covered the Lost Book of Inky, and when you literally took that book and then you took the Bible and you matched passage from passage, and you showed us who was really calling themselves God, quote, quote, you matched it up with the particular being. All right. So it's just so happened before its news came out with a quick article, and they did pointed us to a YouTube video, and the title of that before its news article is Anunnaki Scholars Remove Inky from the Bible. This will rock the Christian world video. And so this video that I'm about to play, I'm going to chop it up. I'm going to play the first half. We're going to come back and talk about it. But it's called Attention Scholars Remove Lord Inky from Bible. This will rock Christian world. And so this video is by YouTube David Boyce. Before I get into it, because it's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes long. Did anybody want to put anything else on it before I get into it? And I can give me a chance to find a video too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brother Sean.
Messiah, messenger.
Oh, there don't, Sean. You took it away, because that's what I was gonna say. That's really what it means. Absolutely. Say that again, brother. Say it again.
It's a messenger.
Exactly.
And the problem with too many people, they getting caught up in the messenger and not getting the message.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And interestingly, one of my sis, we were talking about this subject. This was months ago about, folks deeming themselves the Messiah, they this, they that. And she just simply came out and said what you said. And she said, and it hit me that the message is the Messiah. And I said, whoa, wait, say that again. And she said, the message is the Messiah. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. That's what it is. And if you take that word and you look at it for what it is, that's really what the damn word Messiah means, message.
Mm-hmm.
Not a particular person. Go ahead on, Brother Wendell.
Yeah, I would have to say it's twofold. It's the message and the collective people in handling the message.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to be able to, interpret it correctly as a collective and put that thing into action.
That's a good take on it. Very, very good take on it.
But
so I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
But if they talk about the scholars as removing Inky from the Bible, Inky is supposed to be a Nibirian, right? And he is the Naki, and what's in the sky right now is the idea that Bureau is on its way back. So it's not only a message, it more than likely is an entity that they know that's going to clean butt. And so, and if it's
well,
Inky,
hold on to that. Hold on to that, because
did I
that's
go
not
too far?
no, you didn't go too far, because to be honest, that is not the twist that this video is given. Because we gonna go, like I said, folks, if your feelings gonna get hurt tonight, so be it. We finna dig real deep. We're gonna go even onto this galactic side. And really, really get down to the nitty-gritty of these concepts, even from a galactic perspective. Folks, with the notion that somebody is coming down to, quote, quote, save you. Because from the flip side, from the religion, that's why I said, let's not speculate that this show is going to be about we getting ready to just tell folks come out of the religion. Because the flip side of that, folks have the notion that they still need to be rescued. So we're going to go deep even behind those concepts as well. We're going to get to the root and etymology of the words. And when Brother Window did that Inky series, when he matched up that Lost Book of Inky with the Bible, it was plain as day who the entities were. So I'm going to shut up and play the video. It is going to be, I think, about 20 minutes for the first half. Then we're going to come back and chop it up. Again, the name of this video is Attention Scholars Remove Lord Inky from the Bible. This will rock the Christian world. So here we go. Okay, I said that. Here we go, family.
Well, hello friends, I'm David Bose, and it is a beautiful day. I hope you're all having a wonderful day where you are. Well, friends, today I want to talk about the name of God. The name of the God of the Jews, the name of the God of the Christians. Almost virtually all Christians worship the same God that the Jews worship. And it's actually the same God of the Sumerian tablets, which is really the same God of the Canaanites and the Akkadians and the Babylonians. It's very interesting. It's even in the Egyptian writings. But there's been a big fraud played out upon the world. Now, some would say it is a fraud, and some might conclude that it was simply a mistake. I can't believe in my own heart that this was just a mistake, something that got lost over time. You'll probably remember that you've been told a story for a long, long time about how the scribes of the Jews said that their God's name was so sacred that they couldn't pronounce it, and it was forbidden to pronounce it in the Ten Commandments. And so they said, we're not going to write it or even pronounce it. And the story goes that they have forgotten their God. They don't know how to pronounce it anymore. Well, it's worse than that, friends. They don't even know who their God is anymore. There's a word that is just vowels. There's 3 vowels and another one repeated. So there's 4 vowels, YHWH, that virtually every scholar says means I am. It's just a verb, the verb to be. And in the tense in which it's used, it means I am. And it's throughout the Bible. It's very specific. It's hard to get around that because it's used with nouns to say I am this and I am that. I am God and there is none else. And he's very proud. He says he's a jealous God throughout the Bible. And of course he comes down on the mountain in darkness and thick gloom. Not the kind of character you would think that Christians would be worshiping, nor is it the God that Jesus describes as his Father. However, And remember, the New Testament doesn't ever mention this God or the name of this God. In fact, Jesus kept saying, your God is the devil. Okay, but my Father, you've never seen him, you've never heard him, you've never heard his voice, which is strange, because that actually means something, because the Jews claim to have heard the voice of Jehovah, and that was the 10 words, or the voice of the Lord, which was the 10 commandments. But Jesus was basically saying those 10 commandments didn't come from my God. Now, who do you suppose those commandments came from? Who do you suppose wrote the Old Testament? Well, if you look on your screen there, you're going to see, of course, Charlton Heston in the famous movie about the 10 Commandments. Look at the tablets, okay? The tablet on the right is the first tablet, because Hebrew goes from right to left, so I'll switch it around so you get a better view, because, of course, in English we go from left to right. Now, the left tablet, then, is where the 10 Commandments begin. Now, you'll notice that the first word, well, first of all, you'll notice that there's very few words on those tablets. Doesn't look like enough words, does it, to be giving us the whole 10 Commandments. And that's because this is written in paleographic Hebrew. So it is not the Hebrew of today, which would be, there'd be a lot more letters there. And first of all, in this particular writing, there isn't any vowels, which is something that they invented years later to try and force mankind basically to pronunciate words the way they insisted that we pronunciate them, so there'd be uniformity. However, at this time, this is the way language was for the Hebrews. Now, we're always told that it says, I am the Lord Yahweh. I am the Lord thy God. That's what the first few verses, or a couple of few letters there, is supposed to say. I am the Lord thy God. Now, the first word there actually is not the word of God, is not the word Yahweh, but it is I am the Lord, or I am Yahweh thy God. That's how they translate it. But there's something very curious, friends, I want you to be aware of here. That word is Inky. Yeah, the first word on the 10 Commandments, on those 2 tablets, is Inky, and you can look that up in your Bibles, and I'm going to show you some pictures here. But before I do that, I want you to look at that. That is an A-N-K-I, or E-N-K-I, and that's the way they write it, of course, in the Hebrew. So if you look there on your screen, you'll see all the way far to your right, which in Hebrew it reads from right to left. So the first word, as you can see, is Anoki. Okay, so now remember, the vowel O is supplied. Now this word, this is very interesting. As you can clearly see, this looks very much like the word Anki or Inky. It doesn't. You could say Anki or Inky or Anuki, like the Anunnaki, and it really is the same word. Remember, this is Hebrew and this isn't Sumerian. So in the Sumerian tongue, Anki or Inky was their god, but he also had the title Yah, E-A, Yah. So here we have Anoki Yahweh. Very interesting. Also very interesting, Yahweh is a verb to be, or I am, as well as Inky being the verb I am. They both are the same word. Inky is usually used as an emphatic I am, sometimes used as an oath. I am that I am, or something, which is kind of odd that Genesis 3:14, where Moses asks this God, what is your name? And he says, I am that I am. But it's spelled Aya, Asher, Aya. Asher being the word who, and Aya being a form of the word Yahweh, Aya. It's the tense of that word there, I am that I am. some would say I am, or I was and I am, but it's the verb to be there. But when said in an oath, sometimes it is simply, I am the living God, or I, and they use the word Anoki. Now, you don't need the remember, it's just an N and a K. So the vowels are supplied. And so you could say Inaki, you could say Anoki, but it is the same word. The curious thing is that it's used a lot in the scriptures to refer to this God, Jehovah, and a lot of times it is this Yahweh. Now, in the Sumerian tongue, An means heaven, Ki means earth. And so when An and Ki are together, it usually has those two words in it with some sort of tense of that word, like Anunnaki means from heaven to earth came. There's the heaven and the earth in that word, but the way they put the vowel or whatever the form it takes is how you would say it, because it could just be a word that means heaven and earth, or it could say from heaven to earth came, or it could say they went to heaven from the earth. But lots of words go back to that original word, such as the word Enoch in the Bible, who was a child of Inky, if you read the Sumerian tablets. And so sometimes they say in our Bibles we've got the city of On in Egypt, which is the same word. So you see, you can say On, An, En. And so the word Enlil is also the word An and Lil, meaning heaven, and El, which is God. So that the word Enlil means the heaven God, or the God who is in heaven. And Anki, or Inky, means the God who is from heaven came to earth. Because you see, Inky was the God stationed over this earth, who is basically the God of the land, or the God of the sea, or the God of the world that we live in. So somehow or another, when the Jews began to write this word Enki, it became an emphatic I am, just as everywhere when they translate that word, they use it all often for their God. But in this particular place where the commandments are given, the very first word is Inky, I am. Yahweh, I am, an emphatic I am. And he's telling us this is the God. Now, I think one has to wonder if the translations are correct, because I don't know how we get the word heaven and earth to come out to be I am. Now, I'm sure there's a connection. I'm sure that there is a reason why it is in Hebrew come down to us in this way. But I think that originally this was saying that Enlil is the God who is in the ship above the earth in heaven, and Inky is the God who came to the earth. And so I think what this is saying, if we were to translate it correctly, Enki, Yahweh, Elohim, is I am the heaven to earth God. I am of the gods. Because the word Elohim is plural, and so there were many gods. But when Moses asks this God his name, he's saying, well, I'm Inky. I am Inky. I think that's what it originally meant. I am Inky of the Elohim, or something very close to that. But we don't know for sure. All we know is that Inky's other name is Yah, E-A, and both Yah and Inky mean I am in Hebrew. But originally, they have the connotation of heaven and earth. So, it's a little peculiar. However, this is what we have. Now, in the Ten Commandments, the first word is Inky, very, very prominently displayed. But throughout the Bible, wherever the word Jehovah or Yahweh is used, the word Inky's not always there. But in some cases, the word Yahweh's not there, and only Inky is there. What do we make of this? Hebrew and the Sumerian language, and the Canaanite, and the Akkadian, and the Babylonian, all these languages are very much related. Even the English language is related to these languages, the Phoenician, the Egyptian. They all come from the Indo-European Aryan language. So why then would our word I am have anything to do with God? Or, we've always been told that Yahweh means I am. And it's this strange peculiarity that their God was this verb to be. And we've always puzzled over that, but the idea has always been that, and from the context itself, he's always saying, I am this and I am that. And of course he specifically says, I am a jealous God, and you will obey me, you will worship me, and no other. He's got a lot of wrath, and he's very angry all the time. So from that we see that I am has something to do with the ego. And of course that's really what I am is. It's an egotistical thing. It's self-awareness. We get this from the context throughout the Bible where Jehovah says I am all these things. He's a healer, he's a savior, he's God, there's no one else. He's very proud, and he calls himself a jealous God. That's another one of his names. I am a jealous God. That is my name. And we also get the meaning of this egotistical meaning of the word just from looking at the depiction of this god Inky. If you look there on the screen, you'll see that Inky is in the middle of the screen there. He's standing over a goat, and he's got, looks like water going up around his body, and there's fish going up around the body. He was known as a fish god, while at the same time being half fish, he was also known as a half goat. Now, you'll probably remember in astrology, the goat fish man, today we call him Capricorn. And Capricorn rules the bottom of the wheel of astrology in the month of Aquarius and Pisces. Now, that's the last 2,000 years that we've gone through Pisces, and we're about to go into the Aquarian age. And so astrologically, it is this god, that this fish goat god, that has been ruling over this part of the underworld on the bottom side of the astrological wheel. All of those signs that are on the bottom side of the wheel have to do with water. And so this is why Inky, Iya, was known as the god who ruled over the Abzu. Abzu is the Sumerian word, but in Hebrew, that word has come down to us as the abyss. And sometimes they translate that, the depth or the deep or the bottomless pit. That is the depths of the sea that is on the astrological wheel. So this is very confusing to people because they think that the Bible says that there is this earth, and then above the earth there's sky, and below the earth there's this sea, and at the bottom of the sea there's a big pit, and there's fire and everything, and there's Tartarus, according to the Greeks, or the prison house where the giants are imprisoned. Well, is there a place in hell or the abyss where these beings are imprisoned? Yes, but it's not a physiological place. This is a cosmology that is in all of the ancient writings of the Egyptian, the Babylonian, and here also in the Hebrew. The bottom, beneath is beneath the wheel of astrology, and the sea is on the bottom. And at the very bottom of that is the Absu, and this is where this goat fish god reigns. So he is also identified as Saturnalius that rules over those two signs, Capricorn, or Saturn that rules over those two signs of Pisces and Aquarius. So that is this dark force. Saturn was considered the dark force, and this is where we get the word Satan. We've talked about in one of my videos recently about how the Old Testament actually uses the word Satan to mean Jehovah at times. And you can go back and watch that video. But their god, Inky, was the one who ruled over the abyss, or the Abzu. And he was the god with the horns. And it is the same word that we use today, but from another language. When we say God, we're actually using a Norse word, which, you know, if you've ever seen the Norse with the two horns, you know, and they're all like sort of mesmerized by this two-horned god. You've got a lot of the occult that claim that they worship this god, and they call him Baphomet or whatever. He's always the goat god with a fishtail. Looks like a serpent sometimes, but it's really a fishtail. So God then in the Norse language means goat, and so there's where you get the two horns, or the goat man that has the fishtail. That the reason he's got the goat part of him is because he's ascending through the depths of the sea as though he's ascending a mountain. But he's also got the fishtail because he's got to go through the sea. So he's very carnal, and that's what the goat really represents, that carnal nature, sometimes represented by the bull. Anyway, this animal with these two horns, it's a very carnal, egotistical nature, and it is under the bottom of the wheel where the carnal forces reign. So this is not a God of light. And this, no doubt, is why Jehovah in the Bible, Yah, also known now, as we can see, as Inky, Yahweh, he was always known as the God who...
All right, family. So that was the first half of the video. Attention, scholars, remove Lord Inky from the Bible. This will rock the Christian world. And that was by David Voice. There's also a second part, but I'm not going to play that because we have so many other things to go over. But if you want to hear the rest of it as he goes through the other different beings, you can certainly do so. So I'll pause in case somebody want to put something on it before I put my 1 cent in.
Yeah. Going back to the Tower of Babel, I mean, to me, I think all the confusion coming in with everybody having to learn, quote-unquote, English language, which is going to be the master language. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the code with the strongest spell,
mm-hmm.
the English language. And I'm glad he brought up the Baphomet, but what he didn't bring up is that that's everything being turned backwards. And
right.
He failed to mention the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but
mm-hmm.
it's like we've been saying all along, it's just everything code in reverse.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I'd like to say something.
Sure thing, sis.
And one of the things that well, first of all, I'd like to go back and say the Catholic Church has just recently announced in the last few months that they have the real name of God. And the I Am was just part of what he said he was, and they're supposed to have the rest of it because they have taken out of the different cultures the real name of God. Now, I know in Hebrew and in English that the vowels just became vowels about 400 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have vowels 400 years ago. So for him to, and I can't see the letters that he's, translating as in, because that's a noon in Hebrew. It's the shape of a, that's what his noon is in. But, and that's the sound of it. It's not in, it's noon. But anyway, I don't know if I agree with him because he's using too much current vernacular of speech to make his point. And a lot of that stuff is ancient speech that he should be using, because I thought he said he was using the Hebrew from somewhere, but he's using a lot. He's using a lot of current vowel sounds and end sounds to say it's Inky. And then there is a translation of the Bible, or whatever you want to, Torah, or whatever, that if you use the concordance and you take Isaiah, he's saying that it was not the God he knew. Isaiah said it's not the God I know. And Yahweh is not the God. He's just a vehicle that came after the world was created. And so when the Samaritan text speaks of Inky, like Brother Wendell says, the world was already here. And all they did was walk in the water, the fish part. They walked in the water, and everything was already established, the fish. They just divided the atmosphere and stuff like that. If we go back to what we read in that book of Inky and the Samaritan text. So for some reason, Inky is getting a bad rap on this one because he didn't say he created this world. He said they came here and it was here. So that's my take on it.
Okay. That's interesting. Well, I know for me, what the main point that I wanted to get across out of this snippet of the video, and we talked about this when Brother Wendell did the series on the Lost Book of Inky, and he literally took that particular book and he matched it up with the scriptures. There's no mistake about it that whether or not these beings are actually appeared in the physical, meaning Inky and Leo, et cetera, the Anunnaki, that Sumerian text matches up pretty doggone closely, right on the money with the Bible. So the point that I got out of this video is, as folks are calling on, quote, quote, God, who are you calling on? That's the point that I got out of this video. Who are you really calling on? Literally, we have the world's religion built off the basis of the Bible and various other ancient texts with the concept of a God outside of yourself that's above you, and it's other beings or energy, even if you don't want to say that the beings exist in the physical, and or other energies. Do you really know what you are calling on? So that's the point that I personally got out of the video with, his attempt. Now, whether or not he accurately broke down or with what it meant in Hebrew text, just based on not his video, but other things I recently just read based on the work that Brother Wendell did with the Lost Book of Inky. These particular either energies or beings are taking the place of the concept of what God is.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people in this realm or planet or plane do not know that. And we keep doing it over and over again. We'll get out of the religion, and then we'll say, okay, the galactic. Okay, well, now you're just getting to the source of these particular beings. But do you really know what their purpose really is? So before I move on, because we're going to get into another video that this sister brought, and it's not going to be that long, and she's going to break down about the gods got to be fed. She did an excellent job on the point that I'm trying to make. So let me bring on 256. We do have a question. Oh, excuse me, you all. Okay, 256.
Hey, everybody.
Greetings. How are you?
Greetings.
Wonderful information, conversation. It is great to listen in, and people are talking about all kind of information that's really take your mind to a higher level. So I kind of like sit back, and it's like I just need some quiet time. And then I'm like Xing out all those other calls because they're not taking your mental thinking and, you know, examining stuff. They're just talking about little rubble stuff. So it's like it's very good to listen in, and I appreciate you letting me chime in. And your topic tonight, I believe, is because the conversation is so childish out here. This is how we've been manipulated. We've been discouraged to think on our own, to be independent. We're kind of, since you learn how to talk, and they send you off to that little school, and they learn that they want the people to not think on their own, to just follow who they point to as their leaders. So at a very young age, that's what we did. We were pointed to leaders, and the leaders in the community, you know, you had the politicians, the mayor, you had all the preachers. These are your teachers, your principals. They were our leaders to look up to and to follow and to mold ourselves after. So I think, looking at your question of tonight's topic, why do people look to be saved? Because from a very young age, they're taught, they're trained, they're manipulated, and they're also beat down, showing that the ones who conform will get the goodies. They'll get the A's. They'll get the pat on the back. They'll get the friends. And the ones who kind of want to be, you know, examine this information, maybe think on their own, they're discouraged. The teachers don't call on them. It depends on what school you go to. So I think, you know, that would be my input on your question for the topic tonight, is why they look for a savior. They're taught that that's what they need to do. They can't save themselves. It's impossible. You cannot figure this out. You need somebody else to help you. So you just sit there, go to that job, and buy all these things you see on TV. In the meantime, we will work on this big problem of how to save you. And then that's what we do. So I think that's one part of it. The other part is, like you were always encouraging people to be okay, that you can do things yourself to help yourself. I'm going to say, quote, save yourself. But then there's also that hidden realm that we can't see, that we can't penetrate. And one of the stories came to me yesterday about these hidden beings on this planet, how they prefer the little tender white babies. And what they do is they have a breeding farm for them to satisfy their ongoing appetite for this flesh and blood, and the little baby is so scared, and that adrenaline, they feed off that fear and that, okay, that little baby can't save himself. So in some instances, they do need a savior.
And who's that savior? Who's the savior? Yeah. Now I'm asking.
Any grown up that can go in there and kill them bastards and save that little baby, whoever it is, it ain't me.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm just using the term savior or whatever that term was. You prophet or Messiah. Okay, yeah, that little baby needs it because it can't even change its own little diaper, and them things probably ain't even giving it no diaper. So it depends on where we are. Are we dealing with our realm? Are we dealing with that hidden realm that we can't penetrate? Or are we dealing with little beings, little helpless beings that's been caught? And I don't know where they are. If I knew where they are and if I could do something, I would. But like you say, or that guy is saying, and then the other comment I want to make, and I can get off, is my understanding is that Bible was written by Hebrew Israelites for Hebrew Israelites, not for Gentiles and not for any other thing out here that's not human. So my first choice, as where I'm at now, I've been listening to these conversations for a couple of years now, is if you're not Hebrew Israelite, you ain't got nothing to say to me about that Bible, because you're not given that privilege. And so anybody who has anything to say on that Bible, I'll listen politely, but I'm going to totally discard everything you say. I'll listen politely. After that, I totally discard everything you're saying. Now, that video you played, a couple weeks back, I listened to it myself out there on YouTube. Oh, okay. He has more, because I'm not afraid to listen and discover and research. That doesn't mean I'm going to take it in and absorb it, and you're going to be one of my authorities. Okay? Right. So that I do a lot now, listening to, I started out with you, Rhonda. I'm sorry to say it, so if I'm not progressing as far as I need to be, it's not your fault. Maybe I'm just listening to too much music during the day and not doing my research. But this is where I'm at now, and I'm not afraid to listen, because I might pick up a little kernel from you, but I'm not going to let you interpret that book for me. No, it was my understanding. It was written by Hebrew Israelites for Hebrew Israelites. So that's the second part. And then the last part, I agree that we need to be proactive in our own life development and upward mobility or ascension. I believe that the feminine force and the male force are to work together. And my understanding is, as on Earth, I got a mom and I got a dad. They're supposed to discuss things, but who has the final say? So if there is in the universe a so-called hierarchy of Godheads, and I do believe there is, that male source is the last word. So if Mama Earth, because I remember that study we did, the Lost Book of Inky, when Mama Earth moved or didn't move when she was supposed to, and something that was not very good happened to her.
Right, so she got punished, and if I remember correctly, I said, so she allegedly did something wrong, and I think they said in the text that she was bullying the rest of the planets in the universe because she had all the power, essentially. And so she got knocked down or knocked back in her place. So I brought up that point. Okay, so she allegedly did something wrong. She was bullying other folks, and she got knocked back in her place. Knocked back in her place, knocked out of her place. I had a problem with that then because it screamed to me, so you are admitting to me that the feminine divine was knocked out of power as a quote, quote, punishment. But the energy that quote, quote, knocked her out of power, and it was supposedly a male-dominated energy that was over everything, it's doing such a wonderful job, right? So that's the hypocrisy that I see with the concept of some other force, and especially a patriotic or male force being the final say and over everything. Because if that was the case and that quote, quote, energy is all of that in the bag of chips, it already rules in this realm. And it ain't running like it's supposed to run. So it just doesn't match up. So now that's just my philosophy. That is why I am doing this show on the Messiah concept, because it goes deeper than that Bible. It goes deeper than whether or not you're a Hebrew Israelite, a Christian, Islam, Hindu. It's deeper than that. What I am trying to get at is the energy or the beings that created all of this telling you that something is above you. That they are great, or it is greater than you. That's the purpose of the show. But I respect your opinion, whatever your beliefs are. I certainly respect that. I am just saying, for me, I am not buying that concept, that ideology at all, that there is a final say, and most certainly that it is patriotic or male-dominated. No, I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to anything higher above me. Now, that's just me. So I'll yield.
Am I still in here?
Yep, you still in here, beloved.
I was going to end up by saying, I think everything has its order. It's like order. And when we're out of order, there's consequences. So all of us are to work in accord, in honor, and that way we're all, equal, or there's no big I's, there's no little U's, because I'm doing what I'm to do. So I think that was the example of that's what I took away from Mama Earth being knocked out of her, because just like in the home, there's the mom and the dad. My understanding, that domain of the home is hers. That domain outside is his. She don't go out there and figure out how to best do what he do, and he don't come in there in her territory and boss her around and blah, blah. That's her domain, like Mama Earth. And when Mama in the house get out of, she decided to take that budget money and go out and crack it up, and for the 2 years, all the money ain't going for the bills and everything go awry. Okay, Mama, now you got to be put back in check. So that's just my little small example of growing up. Mom's domain is hers without question, like Mama Earth in that example. And when she didn't move, when she was supposed to move, and I think that is a lesson that I got out of the whole universal scheme of things, is how we are to operate. but there are laws, universal laws that govern, so everything will be peaceful, in harmony, and blah, blah, blah. So thank you for letting me chime in, and everyone, I hope you're having a great summer, and I will just continue to watch your Facebook. And, yeah, I got this long list from my girl, my family. Got this long list of names. If they try to befriend you, don't let them. Now, you got, every time you get a friend request, you got to look at this list. I said, to heck with that. I'm just going to defriend everybody.
I know that's right.
So that's
say
what
knock
I did.
them all out the picture.
Because if you want to find anyone like me, I don't block anybody. You can still find my page. And it's a little more boring when you disfriend people, because all you get is this generic stuff that you can look at. So, this is my first using Facebook on a regular basis. So I'm just learning, when you defriend everybody, it's really boring. Because when you go over to their page, you really aren't looking at a current, ongoing, flowing page of theirs. You might be looking at a little snapshot. Now, this is my experience. I don't know about other people. But that's why I said, heck with this, girl. I can't do this. I just befriend everybody. And so I do miss out on a lot of posts because I was getting a whole lot of stuff. When you share.
Yeah.
So other than that, everybody, I forgot. Sorry, Wendell. Hey, you still there?
Yeah. I told y'all, and there's superstar caller right there.
I love you, Wendell. And see, that's why I love you, Rhonda. Because if I hadn't started listening to your show, I would have never met any of these brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
and they're super
it's been a lot of good people. So, and I love you, sis, because if nothing else, you gonna put your 2 cents, 5 cents, and sometimes 25 cents on it. And I respect that because, if those are your views, those are your views. And no matter what, you still hang in there. So.
I will. And I got these views from y'all, so
well, no, don't say y'all. Don't say y'all. You got them from a variety of places, and just like you said, you take in what you want and throw out the rest. And the way you choose to interpret something and live your life, that's your business.
So thank you, everybody. Just enjoy this summer. And Wendell, I dropped down to my knees and proposed, but girls don't do that. So other than that,
see?
Yeah, stay in your place. Stay in your place.
Yeah,
there you go.
You have to stay in your place.
There you go. Hey, not only do girls don't do that, Wendell already done turned me down 3 times. So once you get turned down 3 times, you move on.
I told y'all crazy.
I love you, brother.
I know, we a hot mess.
I love that brother. That brother is fine. He's smart. He's melanated. He got it all in one.
Yeah, Brother Wendell is very, very handsome man. He really is.
Okay. So I'm letting the international brothers out there know Sis Amir in Alabama is available.
Oh, Lord. You just turn this.
I love y'all. Y'all take care.
BlackPeopleMeetup.com. All right, whatever, Amir. Peace.
Take care.
I tell y'all, something wrong with you.
Now, she just had me out laughing so hard I had to cough. She done just turned that into a BlackPeopleMeet.com doggone ad. I can't with her.
She crazy.
Ain't she crazy? Ain't she crazy? She said that a woman needs to stay in her place. But Brother Wendell, you done turned me down 3 times. Oh, okay, sis.
I want to make a comment on her little Discord.
Sure thing.
What she was now this is just my interpretation of what she was explaining. What she was explaining is how the collective becomes one. Now,
that makes sense.
If nobody else can get what I'm saying, that's what she was saying, is how the collective becomes one.
That makes sense. But, you know, if it was going in the concept of, you know, one being over the other or something being over all, that I don't get. But the collective as one, yeah, because the point is there is no Messiah.
The one is the Messiah.
But it's that collective energy. Exactly. It's the collective energy. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
The collective energy tying back into the source.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The collective is the Messiah. That's handling the message. That's handling the message the way it's supposed to be handled.
Okay. I totally get that. Brother Sean, did you have something that you want to put on it? And I see you, sis, in the queue. I'm coming to you in just a second. Brother Sean,
yeah.
Did you want? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Considering everything is translated to us. I mean, look at the word translate. You're being put into a trance, and then you're being told you're supposed to act this way, think this way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even today, everything is still being translated to us through English,
right?
Which they admitted cannot. You know, they really don't enter and understand the ancient languages, and no language properly translates from one to the other. So, I mean, we getting incorrect information to begin with, or
exactly
off balance frequencies.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Through translation, it's teaching us to divide ourselves. I mean, that's one of the tricks that nobody seems to get. We think that we're separated. We already are one.
Yes.
Yeah, we're having individual experiences, but as far as on the soul plane and the collective energy, we are one.
Exactly.
Whether it's focusing our energy toward the cabal or toward yourself, we still all participating in it. We're collective all the way around the board. Would none of this go on if we didn't permit it to?
Exactly.
So either way it go, we're collective. That's that's the whole trick, getting us to think that we separated to begin with.
Yep.
Agree. Very well said for both of you. Yes, thank you, brothers. Thank you. Go ahead on, brother.
I want to piggyback off what he did. I caught that video, I don't know how many weeks ago. But I don't know if you caught it, but guess who put this information out there?
Who?
The scholars that they're talking about is the Oxford scholars.
Now isn't that real interesting? Now that's very interesting within itself.
So you know you got to be careful with that one.
Yeah, that is very, very true. That is very, very, very true. That's very good. Yeah, you have to take it and keep in mind who put that out there and get what you can get out of it and see what you can do with it. If you can't do nothing with it, leave it alone. If you want to pursue it and do what you can with it, do that. But that's still a part of the collective being one. We have to take the little piece we got and put it in the pot with the rest of it. Absolutely.
But our situation now is bullshit out of the pot. Everything already in the pot. We just got to get the bullshit out the pot so we know what the real is.
Amen, brother.
You know what? It's just like, and you're correct about that. But you know what? If you take a big potato and put it in a pot with a tomato, which one I'm going to rise?
The potato.
So you telling me a tomato is heavier than a potato?
I mean, once they boil, they both rise.
I just said once. It's
floating right off.
If you put a whole potato with that tomato gonna ride, then guess what we can do? We can get that damn tomato out the pot.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You got to put something heavy
put
in
it
there.
all in that. Yeah, put all of the.
What I'm saying is you got to put something heavy in there to bring the bullshit to the top so you can kick it out.
Gotcha.
And if you turn the heat up enough, you don't have to, because guess what? The water gonna boil it out. It gonna kick it out itself because it can't stand the heat.
That's an interesting analogy, and it reminds me of this brother. He did the line, and I told him I will always use this because he said that he's tired of people trying to turn bullshit into gold.
He can't do it.
Yes.
You can't do it.
Yes. So, that's what's been going on because we, allowed ourselves to continue to be under the spell of the language and kept ourselves in a lower vibration frequency to look outside of self. Okay, so as I talked about in the opening, that's part of that Tower of Babel. And Brother Sean, you brought that up a lot of times too, about the trick of the language itself. That's a spell within itself. Brother Wendell, you've brought up, several years now, the etymology of words and the trickery and the meaning behind it. So very, very good points. And real quick, and then I'm going to open up Sis Lioness line. Brother Kel wrote, remember, Dr. Blair said Messiah has that double SS, which comes from the serpent's snakes, the sound. So thank you, Brother Kel, for bringing that up. Now, that's twofold because as we talk about being under spells and words are definitely a huge part of it, just think about that, what Dr. Blair said about that SS sound in Messiah equal to the serpent and the sound. That can be two ways. And so that word Messiah within itself is a spell. But depending on what frequency you are at is how you're able to interpret it. So if you're under the spell of religion, and whether or not that be the traditional religion or whether or not that be the ideology that you're waiting on someone to save you, then that Messiah word is putting you under the spell of a quote, quote, serpent that is binding you. But if you know that the true meaning of Messiah, if you want to operate in the higher realms, when you know that no one's coming to save you, that you must go within and join the collective in the higher realms, then that serpent, SS, is the Kundalini rising.
Mm-hmm.
Rising to your higher conscious self. So excellent point, Brother Kelly. Thank you for bringing that up on how Dr. Blair broke down that word Messiah. And as you can see, it can have a double meaning depending on what vibrational level you are at. Okay, so with that said, let me try to open up Sis Lioness line. I hope you can get on, sis. Here we go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello,
you, sis. Greetings.
Good.
How are you?
I'll say this, just like everyone, to some degree, we are feeling the effects of these different energies. And I vibrate on a higher frequency, but even I am dealing with things. And I just had my solar return. However, the eclipses and this energy and the different things that are rising to the top, Wendell and everyone else who spoke about that right now, it is affecting the Leos, the lionesses more than anyone right now who are in their stead, because this is how it rolls, because there is order and sequence to things. But I want to say that everything that everybody says is so to the degree of your script, and so to the degree of your research, and so to the degree that that LP40 inside of you, that spark, that direct relationship and correlation of you to the one who is the Most High, who is just the oneness in and of and for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's that correlation, and everything that everybody said, including Amira. Amira, don't take no wooden nickels. I hear you now. You have grown a great deal. Everybody has, and we have to do some more, but you are perfect within yourself. Wendell, remember what you did in presenting the lost books of Inky. That's his lost books. But it was interpreted also by someone who I used to not vouch for 100 or 150%, but a lot of percentage, because that's how some of the shit got out for us to get this far. But he was doing his script with those who were controlling him as well. But everybody fits in this puzzle. And, oh, please just do what you're doing right now, because the last call I heard, which was a week or 2 or 3 ago, that was so beautiful. And this one is so beautiful because it showed the growth and the works of your own hands. Now, individually and collectively, yes. And when you opened up, well, when I came on, because whatever I'm going through, but I'm going to be fine, because this is just that shit rising and that shit leaving. And some of the things that some of us have to do is because we have to go through some shit right now to help somebody else to raise their vibration, to come on and go to their highest level, because this is what it's about right now. But you have that oil inside of you that's going to rise and bring the two parts together. And there are people awakening. There are people who have awakened to whatever degree they could at the time that they could, in the way that they could, to get to now. And old Red Tie is doing his shit right now for what he's supposed to do, okay? Or each and every one of us. And I say, oh, this is beautiful. And I'm about to be on the thing. If not, I'm rooting for Saturday, but I don't see it being that. I see it being Tuesday or one day next week. And then I started a round table last week. I want to offer to whomever, but there's different grades, because there is a higher frequency, there is a spiritual hierarchy, but it is not based upon, the true one is not based upon dominance.
Right.
It's not based upon part of the story. It's based upon all the pieces of the puzzle. And outside of the firmament, outside of the dome, outside of the bullshit, because you're the shit and you smell sweet, okay? You smell sweet, each and every one. And you got to come out the other end. You got to come out the other end. And then once it dissipates, it's just a beautiful, or at least a clear and clean fragrance. So that's where what I can do for right now. I'm going to listen some more, and I've been trying to get to y'all. So there's some things that people need to hear, and I don't want to usurp anything, but now it's time for us to come back together because it's about your goddamn character, okay? And once we do that and we rise into the top, and I'm gonna let y'all know because I'm gonna be going around. We got to do those things that we talked about before, and then for whomever doesn't know it already, you were free in the beginning. You are free now. There is some blankety blank paperwork that has happened that don't make no difference. But if people think it makes a difference, so therefore we had to make a difference, and all of that is gone. It's just the manifestation of the clean house.
Right.
So stay right close because it is that close, and just love yourself, and then others, and then those that don't want to do right, as my mama used to say, don't make no never mind. Go on and get your ass out of here.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
and it's so great.
Thank
your
you.
voices love you, and if you decide that you're going to do something this week, just hit me up, and I'll make sure that I let the family know.
Okay, thank you, and for each of you too. It's immense, and the Baphomet, Bobby Hammett, and we
yes.
supposed. I'm supposed to call him again tomorrow, but
Okay, you tell him I love him when you talk to him.
I'm gonna tell him, everybody, because all things, everybody who contributed and played their script and didn't just try to see. The problem now is those jacks that are trying to still hold on to what their script was, and they don't want to come off the stage. They don't want to come off the stage. Well, they're going to be taken off the stage, and you just, everybody out there, you just go inside. Remember, whatever's going, let it go. Whatever's coming, receive it in truth, in love, and with respect of everybody. So I love y'all. Thank you.
Okay, love you too, sis. Peace and love. Okay, that was our sis Lioness. I'm glad that she was able to join us tonight, and she puts on some powerful shows, putting out some heavy information. So if she decides to do something this week, I'll definitely share it with the family. But as usual, she dropped some jewels, and I appreciate it. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
She leave you hanging on, though, too. Leave you wanting more.
Yes. That's my girl. She knows how to come in and sum it up, and I really love that and just put it into perspective. You know what it's really about, because regardless, everything is still moving. So regardless of whether or not folks had a shit together, or what having their shit together means, or what Elemental P, XYZ says, that's not going to change anything, because, again, you came here with the script already in hand. You wrote your script, and it's going to be executed accordingly. So thanks, sis, for that. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to get into the next thing. So that first video, again, it's if you want to go back and listen to the whole thing, is Attention Scholars Remove Lord Inky from Bible. This will rock the Christian world, and that's David's voice. I only played the first part of that video to get the concept of what we are reading in the Bible itself and these old texts, how it matches up with these different entities, beings, and or energies. Okay, so this next video, this particular sister, she cracks me up. Someone else posted this particular video on YouTube, and that's what made me start watching her particular work. Okay, and the name of her YouTube channel is Fame versus Sacrifice, and the name of this video is Their Gods got to be fed. So let me try to find that. Should have been doing that as I was introducing it. Okay, so this one, this one is going to be about 20 minutes long, but it's going to be powerful, so get ready. So those of you that's sensitive with language, go on and take a break or whatever, because she ain't trying to filter nothing. So you're going to hear her get her cussing on or whatever. So here we go. The gods must be fed, and this is our YouTube channel, Fame versus Sacrifice.
Somebody look at your neighbor and say she finna bring it tonight. I said somebody look at your neighbor and say she finna bring it tonight. And if you ain't got a neighbor, look at yourself and say she finna bring it tonight. Well, we gonna jump right into it because that's how we do it over here. I say this. Honey, you know how I do it. So if you don't want to be here, then why you here? Comment on my page every time. Watch my videos all the time. Get some shit to fuck or say. I'm not begging you to be here. Why are you here? We're going to move on. I want to say Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all my beautiful mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. I hope y'all had a beautiful Mother's Day. Okay? We know that's a man-made holiday. But I had to say that. I have to let it be known. Happy Mother's Day to y'all. And we're going to jump right into it. Because that's how we do it. Look at your neighbor and say, they gods. Got to be motherfucker fed. I said, look at your neighbor and say, the motherfucker gods. They gods got to be fed. See, I ain't even done with it. People want me to revisit this situation. And plus, I feel like I need to revisit it. When I talk about something, I like to explain it. When I say they gods need to be fed, I want to break that shit down so you can understand it. Motherfucker won't come talk to me about altars. Oh, you got an altar for your ancestors. Oh, you deal with altars. Motherfucker, Yahweh had altars built to his ass. I said, your God of that Old Testament, motherfucker, he had motherfucking altars built to his ass. I said, I'm going to break it down tonight. The gods got to be fed. By the end of this message, you should overstand some shit. Turn your book to the book of Genesis, chapter 8, verses 20. And we're going to read to the 21st verse. The book say, then Noah built an altar to the Lord, in choosing from every clean animal and every clean bird, he offered holocausts on the altar. When the Lord smelt that sweet-ass odor, he said to himself, never a fuck again will I doom the earth because of man. Since the desires of the man's heart, he said, are evil from the start. He said, nor will I ever again strike down all living beings. Stop right there. He said, Noah built an altar to who? The book say he built an altar to Yahweh. Some might call him God. Okay? He said he chose from every clean animal, every clean motherfucker bird. And then he offered the holocaust on the altar. He said when Yahweh, God, smelt that good smelling shit on that altar and it reached his nose, he said, I ain't gonna, never again. I ain't gonna doom the earth no motherfucker more. I said, I'm gonna break the scripture down tonight. Because, see, I just gave y'all the scripture and let y'all look at it. Oh, I'm going to break it down tonight. Look at your neighbor. Say, oh, so it's a harm with me having an altar. But it wasn't no harm when motherfuckers was sitting there burning sacrifices unto God. Sure. You better, check it out. I'm about to just get into it. Listen to this. Check this out. We talking about this spirit cooking. Motherfuckers, they talk about spirit cooking. They say, well, What's spirit cooking? What's that? I said I'm going to jump into it real quick. Go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 1, starting at the 11th verse. And we're going to read all the way down to the 13th verse. Coming to break it down. It says this, he shall slaughter before the Lord at the north side of the altar. It says, then Aaron's sons, the priests, shall splash its blood on the sides of the altar. Say when the offerer has cut it up into pieces, the priest shall lay these together with the head and sweat on top of the wood. It says in the fire on the altar. The inner organs and the shanks, however, the offerer shall wash with water first. It say the priest shall offer them up and then burn the whole offering on the altar as a holocaust, a sweet oblation to the Lord. Stop right there. That sounds like spirit cooking to me. They kill an animal, slash the blood all on the altar. Ha! Go look at how it's done. Guess what? Somebody said, well, why they doing that? Because the motherfucker gods, they gods got to be fed. They gods love the taste of motherfucking blood. Read the scripture for yourself. It said, when you offer up the blood, that's sweet. That's a sweet oblation unto they God, unto they Lord, Yahweh. Some of y'all call him God. Read that scripture too. See, look, check it out. I ain't trying to stir nobody down no wrong direction. I'm trying to teach y'all. Because it's something that y'all don't know and what y'all ain't seen. Huh. Y'all have not searched the deep parts of my mind. Y'all don't know the shit I know. Y'all ain't seen what I done seen. I'm coming to break it down. Got people arguing with me, but y'all can't even show me no scripture debunking what I'm saying. Yahweh, he wanted sacrifice. He liked the blood. Let me stop right there. See, I'll get into that in a minute. Check it out. Listen to this. Yahweh say, God say, the one you call God, or Yahweh, he say he gonna have people eat each other's motherfucker flesh. He say they sons and they motherfucking daughters. Say he gonna have them eat them. Huh. Somebody say, I don't think that's true. Okay. Turn your motherfucker book. Jeremiah chapter 19 and verse 9. I said I'm going to show y'all tonight. I said turn your book to Jeremiah chapter 19, starting at the 19th chapter and the 9th verse. The book say, I will have them eat the flesh of their sons and daughters. It say they shall eat the flesh of one another during the strict siege, by which their enemies and those who seek their lives will confine them. Stop right there. Huh. They setting us up. Y'all got to understand these scriptures. Some truth in there, and there's some lies. Look at that scripture. Saying folks going to be eating each other. Who doing it? Yahweh. God. It say Yahweh said he going to have people eat each other flesh. He say they sons and they daughters. He said they going to eat one another during this strict siege period. Understand this. They gods have to be fed. So some blood got to be spilled. We keep asking ourselves, oh, well, why they having all these blood sacrifices in the entertainment? Well, what you think? Somebody got to, guess what? Somebody blood got to be spilled for these guys to be fed. They running to the industry. They running to Hollywood. Check it out. Thinking they finna have the time of their life. just for a moment, a very brief moment. Because you never know when your time up, when you playing that game. Because there's a lot of gods. I said they got a lot of gods. And all these motherfuckers, all these gods, they got to be fed. That's why these motherfuckers are in the entertainment business. They got to make these sacrifices so they can feed the gods. Huh? Look at your neighbor. Look at yourself and say they desire blood. That's why they call it blood sacrifices. Overstand that. Overstand that. Ooh, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I want to break it down. Check this out. Check this out. Tell us, people sacrifice their kids to these gods, just like they doing today. Huh. Juvenile sacrificed his child. Huh. Because that blood, that child who got that blood of a child, that's sweet blood to him. Blood, period, is sweet to him and good to him. Oh, but that innocent blood of a child, whew, honey, is sweet to their taste. You must understand this. Turn your Bible to the book of Lamentations, starting at the 4th chapter. And look at the 10th verse. You have to break it down for overstanding. Okay? Overstanding. If you're going to come at me, at least bring me some scriptures and show me something without telling me, oh, you a witch and you this and that. Because, honey, I always got something to back it up and tell you why I do what I do. Huh? Hello, somebody. Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 10 say what? It say the hands of compassionate women boiled their own children to serve them as mourners. Food in the downfall of the daughter of my people. The same God Yahweh telling you, oh yeah, I create this evil, I create darkness, I'm creating all this shit. And then you want to mourn and say, oh my God, the daughters of my people. That's backwards as fuck. Y'all better understand the mystery of this book right here. I said y'all better understand the shit. Say, we just read the scriptures. Say people boiling their kids. The hands of compassionate woman. What do that mean? The people you can look at and say, oh, I would never think they'll do something like that. I never think they'll kill somebody. I never think they'll just snap the fuck off. The hands of compassionate woman, the book say, what? Boiled their own motherfucker children to serve them as mourners. Food in the motherfucker downfall. Food for the gods. So they had to fall down to become food. Because the motherfucker want to come up in the game. Motherfucker want their car. Motherfucker want their big ass house. So somebody got to go. Somebody got to fall the fuck down to be offered as a sacrifice. Who come on and read this book? Well, read what's before that. Read what's after. Go ahead. Read the shit. Keep trying to tell y'all, please don't come for me. Don't do that. I'm talking to them smart fuckers. Y'all know how we do it. Mm-hmm. Check it out. It says, in order to reach Yahweh, God, the prophet Elijah, he told us, guess what he said? He told them they had to slash themselves with swords and spears until motherfucker blood came. Stop right there. Hold on. I'm going to give y'all that scripture. We finna read it in a minute. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and read it. Then I'm going to explain it. Go to 1 Kings. Go to 1 Kings, chapter 18, starting at the 27th verse. And we're going to read it all the way to the 28th verse. So I'm going to read this book with y'all tonight. It's all right, because before I just gave y'all the scriptures, this time we got to go over it together for overstanding. Check it out. 1 Kings chapter 18, 27 through the 28th verse. Check it out. It said when it was noon, Elijah taunted them. Said Elijah taunted them. He said, call louder. He said, for he is God. He said, he may be meditating. He said, shit, our God may be retired. He said, or maybe he on a journey. Perhaps he is asleep and must be awoke. He said they called louder. Then they start slashing themselves with swords and spears. He said this was their custom until blood gushed all over them. That's what the book of Kings say. Kings 18, chapter 27. So in order, stop right there. Check it out. In order to reach Yahweh, our God, the prophet, this the prophet telling them to do this shit right here. He said, shit, God might be up there, motherfucker, sleeping shit, y'all. Come on, listen to it, y'all. He said, the prophet Elijah said, hey, y'all need to call out a motherfucking louder. He said he might be retired. Shit, he might be on a journey or something, or maybe meditating. Y'all need to call on him louder. Prophet Elijah say, hold the fuck up. I know what might get his attention. He said, shit, y'all take them motherfucking swords and them spears, and I want y'all to cut yourself until blood come. Why? Look at your neighbor, look at yourself, say, why? Why would he tell them to cut themselves till blood come? Because the blood will attract that God, Yahweh, or what you call God, unto them. Because guess what? Blood is what that God desires. Blood is what that motherfucker God like. Whew. So if we appease him, I told you got to appease him. When you appease him, oh, let's shed some blood, because we know that's what he like. He might come if he smell this blood off it. He know about this blood here. Who go ahead and read that book for yourself? Because motherfuckers try to act like I'm in La-La Land. I ain't in La-La Land. Shit, y'all the one lost. Motherfuckers want to come up against me. Y'all lost. Motherfucker, I'm found. Whew. It's all right. Says you got to cut yourself. This motherfucker prophet. Y'all want to reach God, shit, y'all better shed some motherfucking blood. Get your neighbor say, because they God got to be fed. Blood, motherfucker, sacrifice. Come on and let's get into it. I got to hurry it on up because I see time is going. Check it out. Look at this. Yahweh and his God, they love to make people eat people. Check it out. I said they just like they God, Yahweh. How these motherfucking restaurants cooking people in the food and shit. Oh, that's a rumor. Whew. I ain't gonna lie, sometime I had to slip and I done ate some shit. I said, you know what? I got to do the best I can. Can't fuck with these restaurants. Check it out. Ezekiel, chapter 15, starting at the 10th verse. This means that fathers within you shall eat sons, and sons shall eat fathers. And say, I will inflict punishment upon you. And fella all the remains of your people in every direction. So he's going to scatter all the remains of your people in every direction. So I'm going to make your people what? Eat each other. Come on now, let's get through this book. Told y'all, the God's got to be fed. Ask yourself, who is this God? Who is this Yahweh that we serving, that folks serving? Who is this Jesus that folks serving? Because if the Old Testament fucked up, then the New Testament is too. Come on, we ain't got to be stupid. We ain't going to be stupid today. I ain't going to allow it. Check it out. I remember I used to go to church, and they used to be having communion. I stopped taking it. They used to get mad at me and stuff. Oh, well, why you ain't taking communion? Is you doing something you ain't supposed to do? Hell yeah, motherfucker. Shit. And I don't want to take the shit. Cannibalism. Look what Jesus said. I say, look what your Jesus said. Look at John chapter 6, 53. We're going to read to the 56th verse. Jesus said to them, I tell you the truth. Unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. He said, whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life. And I will raise him up at the last day, for my flesh is real food, and my blood is real drink. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Cannibalism. Catch this right here. And I ain't talking fast. You're just listening slow. Cannibalism. Cannibalism. That's what that is. And imagination, is a powerful motherfucker. Taking that cracker. That's the body. Drinking the what? The grapefruit. Oh, that's the blood. Ha! Fairy tale ass shit. Practicing cannibalism. But folks want to come for me. Oh, honey, I overstand what I do. Okay? Because before I am a teacher, bitch, I am a researcher. Come on and look at this. Now I'm going to end it right here. I got to end it right here. Because this right here is the juice. So this the juice. That cherry on that motherfucker cake. Look at this. Look at your neighbor and say, it's a lot of motherfuckers saying they follow Jesus. And they ain't no true disciple. You know why? Because they still love their mama, their daddy, their children, their sister, their brother, and even their own motherfucker self. You can't be his disciple if you ain't hating your mama and your brother, your sister, and them. According to what y'all book say. According to the book what y'all based on your life. Come on, hurry up. Turn to the book of, come on, hurry up, please. Turn to the book of Luke chapter 14. We're going to start at that 25th verse, and we're going to work our way to the 26th verse because we're going to end it right here. The Bible says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his or her father, mother, wife, and children, brother and sister, yes, and even your own life, you can't be my disciple. So it's a lot of motherfuckers ain't his disciples who claiming to be. And now if that don't sound like no slave shit to me, some slave shit. Yeah, you gotta hate your mama. Go tell master. Make sure you tell us everything your mom and your pa's doing, I better overstand this book. I ain't gonna even get deep because I was about to get deep and explain some other stuff. But I hope y'all can overstand it with that little bit I just said, gave to you.
Oh, excuse me. All right, family. Sorry about that. Okay, that was from the YouTube channel Fame versus Sacrifice. And that particular video is called Their Gods Gotta Be Fed. So I'll pause and let the family put something on it.
That's what Isaiah said. He don't know this God, Yahweh. He said he is not the God that he knows. And people have taken that scripture and they've taken religion to a new height of stupidity. To continue to think that they can have somebody else come and die for them. When some of the script says you can't die for anybody. The Father can't die for the Son, and the Son can't die for the Father. You have to do this yourself. You got to work out your own soul salvation. So when the scribes translated that, I understand, what's that guy's name? Akhenaten. When he was thrown out, his people that went with him, the Memphis priests that went with him, translated the Bible incorrectly and put all that stuff in there. And because they were mad because they didn't accept Akhenaten as the king like he was. Because Akhenaten had went away and learned stuff at another Eastern something, I think it was, and they wrote the scriptures to speak those kind of things. And so sometimes they say it right, and then they slip in this Yahweh, Yod-Heh, Vav-Heh, and, the I am or whoever he was, and that's what I understand about that. And she is absolutely on track, because if you look at it as a blood sacrifice, thirsty being or entity or power that is commanding men to hate one another. And that's why we have so much bloodshed on this planet, because they think they're doing it right in the name of their so-called gods. And with that, I said, ooh, she was talking, because I read it. Yeah, it was really powerful. And mind the words are not the words she used, but she sure used that scripture, because it's right there in the book. And if people just read it, they'll understand that that's not love, L-O-V-E, even if that's spelled right. But it's not the humbleness and the love for one another that makes us grow. It's the love, it's the hate that he's speaking that shorts us out of our grace and our power. So anyway, I'll rest.
All right, sis. Okay, Brother Sean, did you have something to put on it?
Yeah. I mean, but that's also playing off into the so-called God complex that a lot of melanated people have in association with the Caucasians. I mean, their God is telling you, I'm a vicious, nasty SOB. I love you, but I'm going to fuck you up.
Right.
Just expect it.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to look out for you in the long run. I got you. I got you when you dead. But right now, it's all about me. You going to suffer. You're supposed to, because I made you to suffer. You feel where I'm coming from? You're supposed to suffer. Look, I need this. I need that. Even though I ain't going to come eat none of that, kill this, kill that. I'm a sped. I can't eat nothing. But have at it. Kill. Oh, but remember, I told you not to kill. Your ass going to hell.
Wow, that's a good point. And and you also, sis, I love the way you broke it down. But I was so taken back by this video, because I think the sister did an excellent job of just taking the simple scriptures and showing people how this particular energy, these self-appointed gods' requirements for folks to do stuff for them, and then and at the end of the day, is some type of ritualistic blood sacrifice, all for the sake of them getting a particular type of energy, and you concentrating your energy on them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all for you to get some damn trinkets. If you get the trinkets. And that is what this society has been based on in this realm of you must serve something outside of yourself. You must give over your energy. You must make allegiance to. You must serve in order for you to get XYZ. And when you look at it at the grand scheme of things, that particular energy or entity is getting way more out the damn deal than you're getting out the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was just her take on taking the simple scriptures and showing you how throughout those were sacrifices. They were ritualistic sacrifices to benefit those entities or energies that don't have your best interest at heart. So I thought she did an excellent job. And then again, I wanted to just point out that as, you know, folks are calling on things and energies and people outside of themselves, as folks are putting either a group, a person, a religion, a movement above themselves, that you're, in essence, turning over your energy. You're, in essence, serving that energy. When you are calling on deities, when you are calling on these names to come and save you or to do X, Y, Z for you, if you don't enter and understand that you are going outside of yourself you're turning over your power to these entities, when you have everything you need within you, you're still serving a Messiah concept. Let me say that again. Rather that be religion, rather that not be a movement that you're waiting on that's going to bring something through, whether it's some galactic force that you're waiting on that's going to save you, it is all still the Messiah concept. You are looking outside of yourself in order for you to be saved. Okay? So hopefully these two videos showed you, just from a biblical text perspective, those names that folks are calling on, whether it's the Hebrew name, Yahweh, whether it's just the generic concept of God, whether it's Jehovah, you better do some research and enter and understand the derivative of that. So with that, I'll yield. In case somebody else has something to put on it.
Yeah, that's where what I was talking about a few minutes ago. You have to be able to take this information, because all we have is what we have, and do what you can do with it. The rest of it, put that stuff somewhere else. Because you got to remember something. Who controls the publishing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We talked about that several times.
Yeah, you have to keep all that stuff in mind.
Yep.
Because somebody's got a twisted idea about something. No doubt.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I'm sorry, Brother Sean, did you have something else you wanted to put on it?
Yeah, I mean, that word Messiah, again, mother, double S, that's feminine. I mean, the word within itself is feminine. Mm-hmm. It's feminine energy, period. But once again, it's been attributed to the masculine.
Yes, that's a very good point. And interestingly enough, somebody had posted, I want to say last year sometime, they even posted, and I think Brother James Dunn talked about it too. It could have been him that posted it, but anyhow, even the derivative of the word Yah and Way, first of all, let me go back, because even Dr. York, in his tablets, he broke down that Yah and Way, and from his perspective, was a derivative of agreeable and disagreeable beings. So I found that interesting, that's the content that he particularly put that word Yahweh. We've heard Brother Morris Donaldson say that particular entity or being, Yahweh, is basically at a clerk level with no power. I've heard Brother James Dunn say, and I think it was James Dunn, post about the derivative of that term, Yahweh, Yah, that Yah is a feminine word. So I found that was interesting, and I kind of did a little bit of research, and sure enough, from a language perspective, even that term Yah was feminine. So it just goes back to what we started out saying at the beginning of this topic on the concept of a Messiah and entering understanding who that folks are looking outside of themselves to call upon to have answers to save them. That we have to be extremely, extremely careful, do your due diligence, because no one is above you, no one or no thing. You are with the collective energy force. Okay, so now if some people choose to still have that concept of someone over them, that is certainly their choice, and hey, that may be their journey this time around. Some people will just be there at this point, but I want us that are coming from under the spell of religion, that are working on their own Kundalini rising and, tapping into the higher realms, that we also have to be careful and not be fooled to think, well, I'm over the religion of spell. Oh, I'm all good. You have to look at it from the other angles also. You have to look at it from folks bringing movements to you. And whether or not that be the Building a Nation movement, whether or not that be the New Age movement, you have to be careful. Are you still looking outside of yourself for something or someone to save you? Okay? So, what I have seen over the last couple years, the term the conscious community, and it had gotten really huge, and you have a lot of folks on YouTube that have became their own sort of YouTube stars in their own right. And when you hear the term conscious community, that is closely linked, I would say solely linked, with the melanated community. And that term, pretty much the unofficial written word of that term, conscious community, are folks that have waken up out of the spell of religion, and they are thinking more on a conscious level. Okay, what I have seen happen is over these last couple of years, it has been turned into its own religion. Okay, you have folks that they call the RBGs, the red, black, and green folks, all back to Africa. They have the Ankh itself has become a replacement for the cross. They talk the ideology of building a nation and what needs to be done to overthrow the beast system. But then it started to morph into even folks in that conscious community that were claiming they have the same message for the melanated people to come together as one. You started to see some of those same people fight each other. And so, I'm just sitting back watching this, and especially over this past year, they didn't really came out slinging for each other. And then it became a joke at that point, because you clearly see that it is yet another movement that these conscious community, quote, quote, self-appointed leaders, it was to the point of having people look up to them for whatever their personal purposes was for. And so it hit me that the conscious community has turned into another form of religion with folks following behind someone else's movement, ideology, and in essence, you are feeding their ego. You're sacrificing your energy, turning it over to them for their own selfish purpose, ego, and then some of them have even dipped into their own folks' pockets. Okay? So, again, we're to the point where you had a group of people come out of or from under the spell of religion and joined a movement that once again morphed itself into a form of pseudo-religion where you have these self-appointed leaders which are drawing folks' energy. It's not about you looking within yourself that you have the power to do X, Y, Z. It's more about you need to listen to my message. I have the true message, and as a matter of fact, I'm the leader for the people. So in essence, how much different is that than any of the other dogma religions? Not so much different at all. So these are the things that when we look at, as if you are on the journey of self-enlightenment, self-empowerment, doing things by going within and tapping into your own energy to have the Kundalini rising, when you think of that term Messiah and folks following the Messiah, you need to look at it from all angles. Just don't look at it from the religious standpoint. Look at it also from the New Age standpoint, the conscious community standpoint, the concept of galactic beings coming to save you.
You know, Rhonda, one of the problems that our people have is that they don't realize, I guess they don't know their history, and they said if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. One of the problems that we had when we were it was that we couldn't follow each other. We came down, we were brought down because there was infighting. And it's the same generation from past eons that had come back and set themselves up as leaders, and there's infighting again. And they just keep repeating the same cycle.
Mm-hmm.
The same cycle. And the women look at a man and say, oh, my God, are you guys crazy or what? You're doing the same thing you did before. So when are you going to understand that you're going to have to stop this stuff and stop bringing your old habits forward every time you reincarnate? You can't do that. We'll never become people unless we do it for ourselves and do it together. And how you do it for yourself and do it together, you just work together. Because there shouldn't be anybody who done set themselves up as a leader with a title. Because who gave you that title?
Exactly.
Who made you leader? Who made you the leader? So I admonish our people to stop trying to be the leaders and try to be the followers sometime and follow what's truth and what's love and honesty instead of trying to exploit each other. For what? $1 that is not even worth $1. It's not even anything but paper. It's not even worth anything, but they will die. And like they said, the lady said, you kill your own mama and your own sister and your own brother and everybody just to get what you want. And you're killing people in vain for something that's not even real.
Right. Very good point, sis. And you know, it's interesting because the conscious community, to me, term conscious community, and a brother said that a couple years ago before folks start telling on themselves this year. It had dawned on me, and then I heard, I think it was Brother O'Shea Kaford, confirm it for me personally when it came to my attention that these self-appointed leaders, they have not balanced out their heart chakra. So meaning they're still stuck, because when you operate out of ego, and let's be clear, when someone is telling you that you must go through them for your own personal well-being, that's ego. That you must follow their information because their information is the only truth, etc. That's operating out of ego. Ego is at the heart chakra. And when folks are egotistical and want to appoint themselves leadership titles over others, that is telling you right there that they do not have a balanced heart chakra. So meaning that heart chakra is the gateway to the higher realms. So how in the F can they, quote, quote, be leading to something greater when they're stuck at a fourth dimensional level? That's the highest level that they can go. So these are the things that we need to start inner and overstanding just as an individual being. We will all eventually get to where we're supposed to go, and where you want to go, not even supposed to, where you want to go, but it is an individual journey. And once you ascend, you're going to meet with the collective to make things happen. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The lost people are the ones that talk the loudest. Misery loves company. They love company. And they're going to tell you how to set yourself free, and they're not even free.
Exactly.
So, how can you tell me how to get what's naturally mine when you don't even know how to get it?
Right. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to charge you X amount of dollars
to do it.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I just had to bring that in. Yeah, and I'm going to charge you X amount of dollars to get supposedly and allegedly what's yours, but you have to come through me to get it. But bruh, if you have it and you are a self-appointed leader, why the F are you asking me for something?
You should have it all, right?
Exactly.
But see, the thing is...
I'm sorry, go ahead on, brother.
What people don't take the time to realize is who created the study of Egyptology. I mean, and when? I mean, it probably called correctly.
A bunch of thieves.
It was started right here in Chicago.
A bunch of lying thieves started that.
That's right. They went in there and robbed the crypts.
The point that I'm getting to behind that is, and pertaining to the quote-unquote conscious community, the fact that how a lot of their debates with a lot of people and points of division is the fact that they're trying to make everybody be from Africa. I mean, that agenda was really pushed with roots. But then they decided to use the conscious community for it. These Boulay brothers,
right?
Got secret deals and everything with them that's already then gave up their soul just because they seem like they just popped out of nowhere to us and became self-appointed leaders. No, these people been groomed for this specific purpose.
Mm-hmm. Now that's a good point. That's a good point because I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And of course, they're gonna ask for money because what better way to keep you focusing on something other than yourself? You got to go out, work a little harder. Maybe work a little overtime so I can get this from him, so I can get that from her, so I can get his book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody wants money, but we're spiritual beings. We're supposed to rise above this. But I got a book for you, $79.99, and I got
right. Or I got that, information, that sovereign information to free you. Send me that 2,500, 1,500, 800, 900. Exactly. Or this the biggest kind. Now, sisters, I'm getting ready to get on you. Because you are giving up your body to these low-life, self-appointed Messiah leaders hustling your PUSS blank.
Stand in line to give it up.
Yeah, you stand in line to give it up. Because you want to be his main thing, and you know that he's screwing you and 15, 30 others. But because this Negro, this self-appointed himself as a GD Messiah, you stand in line to service him.
You might as well be in the line. You might as well be in the line and get him a pair of Jordans.
Literally, you standing in line to service him. You turn over your divine power. You lower yourself to this low life, self-appointed Messiah.
Oh,
hey, they got it honest though, because that's been happening for how long? How many people can we look at as screwing half the congregation?
Yeah.
No matter what religion you go off into.
Yeah.
Everybody getting it in.
Yeah. But you the Messiah now.
I'm closest to God.
And you about higher power, but you gonna get that PUSSY.
Oh yeah, this is close to God as you gonna get. Right here. You can't get to God until you get on this. You got to get on the good stick.
What you say would you until you get on that? Yeah. Come on now. Let's be real. So I'm getting on you sisters too for falling for that shit. Being a goddamn concubine, lowering yourself to a broke ass nigga that's hustling you. And then whether or not you turning over your money to him, turning over your body to him, turning over your time to him, more importantly, turning over your energy.
Oh my goodness.
Let's be real. Sure, brother.
Had that quote unquote country community died yet?
I think it's getting there.
I turned them out a long time ago because I was sitting there wondering, if y'all got all this damn information, why don't y'all just put that shit together and figure out what's wrong and what ain't wrong and proceed from there and try to find out the truth about the whole shit? But ain't nobody got sense enough to do that.
Well, because their intentions aren't pure.
Yeah, because you can't be conscious with that mentality.
Exactly.
It's impossible.
Exactly. Working out of ego.
Yeah, you got to realize they feeding off of them good because they're more excited about it. They've mustered up energy that the other religions didn't drain, and they got newfound energy. I mean, that's a vital food source. I mean, They moved up the food chain. That's
exactly.
all. You charge it up and moved up the food chain.
Exactly. And like I said, they're just robbing, ultimately, people of their precious energy. And the thing that just really just, you look at it and like, folks, you got to be so kidding me, is that when things start coming out about these stinking ass appointed leaders, misusing either funds behind the scenes, eventually asking for funds, it comes out the treatment of women that's going on, then, people still justify for the behavior.
Oh, yeah,
but you're not under a spell of religion, because you're conscious. But you're not under no spell. Get the F out of here. But you're not in the cult.
But that's the trick to it, though. I mean, oh goddess, oh queen, oh empress.
Yeah.
You free to do what you want to do, baby. Fuck me, fuck my boy. I mean, get it all in. You got it. You can do this. You can do this, girl.
But give up that peace. Right. But keep giving up that peace.
Do this. Right. You got it. You can do this. You can screw everybody, baby. It's okay, queen.
Right.
You above all this. That's mental.
Right.
Don't pay attention to the word. Don't pay attention to nothing nobody else say. They thoughts don't matter.
Right.
I matter.
Exactly. I matter because I'm the Messiah. It's got to come from me. Get the fuck out of here with that. But you're not under no religion. You're not in no religion. You're not under the Messiah concept. But this raggedy, broke down Negro is benefiting far more than you're benefiting. Sweetheart, you are in a cult. You are a concubine. Your energy is being used. You are under the spell of the Messiah religion.
The poor thing in hell and don't even know it.
Yeah, exactly. Self-appointed hell.
And liking it.
Self-appointed hell. So, let's get real. We have to look at it for the way it is, because people have come out of religion and just basically jumped back into another movement. And then when the truth is put before you, because the truth always prevails. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. It always prevails. Now, whether or not you want to accept it doesn't stop it from being true.
Exactly.
So beware.
Let's see, what people have to understand, when they realize that people are beginning to wake up, they got a new trap for you.
Yep.
And if you're not paying attention to what's going on, they got another trap for you, because they've been planning for this a long time.
Exactly.
A lot of us just now waking up. They
right.
already knew what was going on.
Right, and because they knew what time that or frequency, they knew the age where the veil was going to be unlifted. They already knew.
Right. And they had all this new stuff waiting on you. Since, okay, they found out that Jesus didn't physically exist. Let's tell them some aliens coming. Yeah, that's it, dude. Aliens. Oh, I'm glad you thought of that, dude. Aliens. We got all these different aliens. We done already got them with Star Trek and Star Wars. Aliens.
Right.
Beautiful. Oh, yes, dude. Aliens. We got them.
Exactly. Or we know that Jesus had to be a black man, so therefore the Messiah is a black man. Oh, okay. Okay.
I still ain't telling you to go within.
No, still not telling you to go within. You have to serve this self-appointed Messiah that's broke than a motherfucker now. Let's be clear. Broke than a motherfucker. But they finna save you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, then.
Donate
but you
to
gotta
my
wait.
PayPal.
Right, exactly.
Oh.
But you gotta wait. Oh, no. Your wealth is coming. You gotta wait. Still keep screwing me while you wait.
Mm-hmm. And donate to my PayPal because I got to keep making these videos.
Right. Go out there and hustle my material. It's coming. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that. So
I need a van. I need a van of Mercedes.
So how
they can return my lights off.
Exactly. You know we need to, take care of this place. We still have to raise money to operate. Wait a minute, MF. You're the Messiah.
Right.
What do you need anybody's funds to maintain your kingdom? So it's just bull crap,
being turned off. That's because the government picking with them because they getting the word out there. They telling the truth, so the government just picking with them. The agents.
Okay.
The agents, they're after me. You are the agent.
Okay, but even through all of that, and I see you 832, I'm coming to you, sweetheart. Even after all that, women still keep giving up that PUSSY, though. Rather not we in the dark. Rather not we in the woods.
That motherfucker over in the alley and everywhere, rattling garbage can.
Right, don't cut off that supply. It's bull crap, people. It's someone else using you for your energy.
Oh, my goodness.
You're putting all of your energy into them. They're benefiting, and you're not getting anything out of it. Not like you're supposed to be getting out of it. So, anyhow, let me go to 832. I know you've been holding, so here we go. Uh-oh, let me try again. 832, your line is open.
Love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice to my sisters from another mister and my brothers from the other mothers. Y'all acting a fool tonight.
There you
Y'all
go.
acting a plum fool.
Just forgive me. I had to snap for a minute.
To the big city boy. Let me throw this log on because I haven't heard you say, Rhonda, whether you've watched American Gods yet.
I have. I watched the entire series. Bad. Very powerful.
Now, the Vagina Nebula, Queen of Sheba, Odin, which is Zeus, which is Yahweh, which is X-Men Apocalypse. Do you remember that scene? Now,
I do.
I listened to all of what Sean was saying. Amen, Sean, from the Peanut Gallery, by the way. My predicament with the God concept is they're almighty and all-powerful, and they need me, this sniveling peon with no power. They need my blood. They don't have blood. You know,
right.
And what is the importance and the power of us as beings, which, by the way, the power within, as you said, I mean, there's all kinds of science fiction movies that have talked about, the Force, but it's Star Wars. It's not Star Love, it's Star Wars, and the Force within, but the Force is a black Force, right, that's evil. These metaphors, these imageries and whatnot, which is to turn everything upside down, inside out. I'm just saying that for premise, first and foremost. But how are we going to move from, and I know you're trying to say this when you talk about ascension and higher powers and elevate from, the root chakra to the crown chakra, et cetera. These are all analogies, But how do you actually implement it? When we implement things, we do it in the physical realm. and that keeps us in a loop. You know, it kind of keeps us in a continuous downward spiral on the physical plane. We're never working into a higher vortex going upward. You know how often most people, I'd say 99% of all people, look at the ground when they're walking around, how frequently they really look all the time up at the sky or at the stars. You know, what motivates and drives the average human being? So when a God essence, quote unquote, something that comes from the heavens, which automatically is going to make people awe. You know, it's awesome, it's awe-inspiring, you know, and it's also outside of yourself personally. So how are you going to bring within yourself and your consciousness and your thinking something that you see as all-powerful outside of yourself? And then you start projecting these things on what these God concepts, these religions, these philosophies. It doesn't matter whether it's black consciousness, black theology, the Hotepers as you refer to, any kind of concept is a religion in the strictest sense of the definition. But I believe breaking down the word religion is the legion of regenerating or regurgitating something else, someone else, something other than self.
There you go.
Right?
Powerful.
You know, so how do we really become the center? I am that I am. Right? Me, I am. We don't really stress that. We project it on Yah, Inky, whatever. Now you got these alien beings and species that like he just got to say it. You know, look at our whole the zeitgeist of our current modern society, which, by the way, based on capitalism, which, by the way, turned the first Moor, African, Balalian, Alkebulan, whatever term you want to use, into material property, correct?
Yes.
That we then became owned by others other than ourselves. And then they taught us that they were the God, the Son of God, the white man, the Almighty God. And then we spend our time bleaching ourselves, trying to be light-skinned, amalgamation, miscegenation. You know what I mean? These are all symptoms of a mental disease. So if you are a dis-ease in a condition that is dysfunction, what function can come out of dysfunction? I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just making observations, listening to you brothers and sisters tonight. You know, at the end of the day, we got. I like using this analogy. We're talking about in the economic engine of capitalism. Okay, 9 out of 10 folk are employees. That's not a bad thing or good thing. It's a factual thing. But if the one doesn't create opportunity, job, business, whatever, for the other 9 to eat, get paid, and get paper, the one is Inky. The one is Yahweh. You follow what I'm saying? You know, the one who makes things happen for the sheep, the 9, to act upon, that's how the game flows. How do I become the one? I know I'm just, and I'll leave on that note because there was a movie, The One. You ever see that with Jet Li? I know Sean. I think you're talking about.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh God! Now you got the parallel multiverse. He killed himself 120 and absorbed the power of himself in each of the different multiverses. And the last one, he was coming head up 1-to-1, 125th one. And this is Jet Li, by the way. It's a powerful flick if you haven't seen it. Because it gets into a lot of the layers of what we discussed about, whether you got parallel universes, whether you got time travel, whether you exist in the same or similar or just a slight difference as the same presence in parallel paths. And if I were to do human sacrifice upon myself, do I absorb that energy? So if we're talking a God concept, is that what the God is doing? Absorbing, and I think you've already said this, absorbing the energy through the blood sacrifice of these so-called insignificant beings. Why are gods worried about us?
Exactly.
In the final analysis, we're irrelevant.
Right. Very good.
Thank you for the time, sisters. Y'all have a good evening and peace and
you
love.
You too, brother. Peace and love. Thank you, brother.
It's good to hear from you, brother.
Yeah, I'm so glad he came in and he gave me, he wound up dropping off. I don't know if he dropped off by mistake. But I'm glad that he came in and put something on it, because I love the concept of he saying that if this quote, quote, Messiah or God concept or leader, and if everybody have to go through you, I'm confused. Why do you need everybody if you all of that in the MFing bag of chips? Because you're harvesting their energy. Because they don't have what they claim to have. Because if they had it, they wouldn't require sacrifices or harvesting folks' energy. So either they're not able to operate past that fourth dimension, or they damn don't know how or don't have any concept whatsoever. Yeah. That's an excellent point. I'm sorry. Go ahead on, Brother Wendell.
No, that was me.
That was Sean. Sorry, Sean. Sorry, Brother Sean. Go ahead on.
I'm just saying, they create everything. I mean, there's certain things that I can't do. I got to create you to do this. I can't do it.
Right, but I created you, though.
I created everything. Not everything, not just you.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, my bad.
But I can't do this.
Exactly.
I need some money every week. I need you to go ahead, break me off every week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I need mine.
Right.
Let me hold some.
Right.
Exactly. I need your energy. I need you to go through me to give you X, Y. What the fuck? Come on, people.
And the real thing is being taken is your energy. That's the real currency. The money ain't your real currency.
The money is inconsequential. And it is no accident that this system of capitalism that has currently been spread upon this planet uses the same concept. Energy.
Right.
It's all about the energy.
And that's what they're capitalizing on.
Absolutely.
For your energy, and they giving you a word for this piece of paper and told you that it's a debt note.
Exactly.
And that, it's payable upon demand to bearer, but what's payable upon the man to bearer? I mean, that's a religion within itself, too. I mean,
yes. Very much so.
We're talking about false prophets. I mean, people think that money is going to take care of everything. And then they don't even pay attention to the fact that people with quote-unquote money, how many of them killing themselves, miserable? I mean, you see all these lonely people. I got all this money, but nobody loves me. Nigga, I could buy your black ass 1,000,000 times over, but nobody loves me.
Exactly. Yep, because we see plenty of people with yeah, we see plenty of people with money that still need to be in the limelight, still need people to bite off of them, and you like, why? Go sit your old ass down. But it's an energy thing.
Yeah, they sitting over in the corner with a damn needle.
Oh, yeah, like an addict, like a junkie.
Yeah, over in the corner. They junkies for real. They over in the corner with a damn needle.
A junkie for energy. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to, real quick, it's this one elder and it literally, that's his name on YouTube. And he's funny as heck, y'all. He puts out his little videos, and it's only like 10 minutes long, where he gives his synopsis of different things that's going on. And so he put out a video called "The Conscious Community is a Joke." So I'm just going to play this just to drive the point home that the conscious community and all of these fake ass movements and these people running around talking about they the son of man, they can redeem this and that, it has been turned into a religion/cult. So here he goes. This is the elder called "The Conscious Community is a Joke." It's only 11 minutes in. We're going to come back and chop it up.
Morning, family. This is Ella Rasan DeLay out of the great city of New Orleans, Louisiana, coming to you with another great and informative video. Peace and blessing to all the melanated family. Peace and blessing to all mankind. Well, family, this video is going to be about the conscious community, polite, and the rest of them mess makers. They there. I woke up this morning, check a few videos out. There's Polite, Unc, Minister Inky, and all of them talking about young Pharaoh because he backed out of the debate. And young Pharaoh, you did the right thing. Do your own thing. Stay away from them clowns, because all they want is attention, and they're hating on you. They're jealous of you. That's right. Looking for views. I mean, they're sitting there talking a whole lot of shit because Pharaoh say he believe in extraterrestrials or he had some encounters with them. How we know he didn't? How they know he didn't? It's this jealousy and hate in that community. Really, the conscious community is a joke, family. Full of hate, full of jealousy, full of envy. Instead of all those great minds coming together and form a coalition so we can move forward out of this dilemma that we're living in. But they study on YouTube, bickering, fighting, name calling. That ain't no country person. Excuse me, family. That is not no conscious person. That is no spiritual person. Hate, envy, fighting. That's all I ever seen in the conscious community. Everybody trying to score points on each other. And young Pharaoh, I applaud you. You did the right thing to back out of that debate. Because those people ain't nothing but trouble. Envy and jealousy and all that other shit. The conscious community right now is on a downswing. Ain't too many people I like to listen to outside of young Pharaoh, red pill and blue pill. For its conscious community, and a few others I like to listen at, because the elders like to listen at something positive, something going to enlighten me to be a better person. That's right. Spiritually, morally, and financially. All this bickering and fighting and downing each other, criticizing each other, that is not conscious, it is not spiritual, it has no morals. And these supposed to be great young minds. And all they're doing is ego tripping. That's right. Because when you let the ego take over, there's no understanding, there's no wisdom, there's no knowledge being taught to come together as one. And that's what we need to do, come together as one. not divided, very divided in the conscious community. That's right. Very, very divided. Because everybody ego tripping. Like most people say in the street, long as I get mine. And we can't do it with one person. You must have a united front to fight this devil. Because that's the problem right now for black people. We have no economical power. We have no togetherness. We have no unity. We have no land. We have no schools for our children. We have no language. All that has been lost. Instead of us trying to get together and get it back together and unify as one, and we're going to be a hell of a folks to deal with this demon. But everybody ego tripping. Everybody hating on young Pharaoh. Everybody hating on this one. Everybody hating on that one. Hate is not the way to go. Love is the answer. Compassion for your fellow man and all mankind. And ever since I've been listening at the conscious community, it has got worse and worse. That's right. No progress is being made. And long no progress being made, we're going to stay in this same dilemma we're in. Bickering, fighting, and your point is this, that, and the other. Talking about Kim and the medicine nectar. That ain't got a motherfucking thing to do with our liberation. That ain't got nothing to do with our freedom. Sure, the medicine nectar is good to learn if it has been deciphered or whatever. But we got bigger problems than that. That's right, family. We got big, big problems fighting the beast. Our children are being poisoned and manipulated with nonsense. That's right. Our young men are being destroyed by drugs and alcohol. And our elderly people, a lot of them are homeless. And yet they're sitting there bickering, fighting, debating over something that don't have no benefit for us right now. We need love and compassion. We need some land. We need some currency. That's what we need. We need some unification. Polite, on Minister Inky and all the rest of you clowns. That's what we need. Instead of bickering and fighting and trying to prove a point. And it ain't getting us nowhere. We're still in the same dilemma. We're still at the bottom of the totem pole of all the races. That's right. We're on the bottom. That's right. The Chinese doing all right. The Asians doing all right. The devil doing all right. But how are we doing? All we doing is bickering, fighting, and killing each other. Lying on each other. Hating each other. And it's rapid in the conscious community. Nothing but ego tripping and downing each other, criticizing each other. How are we going to get anywhere like that if we don't have no unification, family? That's why I've been stopped fucking with the conscious community, Sidnetta, Polite, and all them other clowns. That's right. Because all they're doing is looking out for money for themselves. They don't care nothing about nobody else. That's right. And the whole world laughing at these niggas. That's right. If you can't get it together in the conscious community, they ain't damn sure ain't got it together in Reverend Porkchop sanctuary. That's right, family. We gotta wake up. We gotta wake up now and get away from all this foolishness. That's right, family. The time is now. The clock is ticking. But they don't hear me. Because they're stuck in la-la land. Even a lot of those so-called scholars, they're stuck in la-la land. They're ego tripping for some gratification. That's right, family. Well, family, we're going to cut this video short. That's just my take on these conscious fools. And I'm telling young Pharaoh, just stay away from them ignorant people. Do your own platform. Do your lectures. Keep teaching. Keep doing what you're doing. And stay away from them damn fools. Because they ain't nothing but mess. And looking for trouble. And trying to make other people look bad. Peace and blessings to all the melanated family. Although listening to this video, please subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video. And the elder is out.
All right, family. So that was and I was re-laughing because on a couple of his little points. But that's off the YouTube channel, The Elder, and that particular video is The Conscious Community is a joke. So I'll pause in case someone wanted to put something else on it.
Yeah, that's my old buddy right there. I saw that a while back. That's my old buddy right there.
Whoa, when he said, for Brother Wendell, when he said, and all of this stuff about Egyptology and Kemet don't have a motherfucking thing. I lost it because if you watch the video, he'd be sitting back so calm. I'm like, oh my goodness, he is a mess.
Yeah, you're a mess. But did you catch out of all he said one thing that I said about 30 minutes ago? Why in the hell can't y'all take all that damn information, put that shit together, and find out what the real deal is?
Exactly, because that's not their intent. It's about ego tripping and stealing folks' energy.
Yep.
That's what it's about. So I just want to play that again to just re-emphasize that even this concept that came out recently over the past 5 years or so of conscious community has essentially turned into another pseudo-religion with these self-appointed leaders zapping energy. Okay, so I ran across a video that someone posted, and it's actually very, very powerful. Ooh, I see you, 215. I'm going to come to you before we go into this next segment because we talked about the typical, when we think of the Messiah concept, we always think that those in the church are lost and coming out of that state would essentially free you. And as we just discussed, the other tricks out there, number one, we just discussed the conscious community. But I ran across a video I'm going to share with you all from this Reverend called Ike. Now, I know some of you probably heard this video. It's been floating around on YouTube, but I was shocked that he was so bold in his particular church with bringing this message. And someone told me, I wasn't familiar with this Reverend, but someone told me that he always had a bunch of controversy. So I'm going to go to that in a second. But before I do that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We got another Rev Ike?
Yeah, because somebody else told me because they sent me the video. I had already seen the video and I was planning to share it tonight. And someone else said, you know what? I thought when I would hear people say Reverend Ike is crazy, that it was referring to Tina's ex. I said, so did I. And so the person said, yeah, I had been hearing about this Reverend Ike for quite some time on the East Coast. So it's going to be very interesting when I share that particular clip, what his take on things. And he literally had his own church, whatever. I'm not sure what happened to him, but we'll get to it in a second. Let me bring on 215, and then we'll get to it. Let me try this again. 215, your line is open?
It's Lioness again. I thought you were at the end of your thing to tie this together really nice. I love that gentleman. I love looking at that gentleman, the elder. I watch those, and his attire is really, he's just down to earth, okay? And he's wonderful. I love him. Plus the Louisiana shit coming out too, so that's good also. But to lend some more positivity to your call tonight, and for always and forever, for any individual from whomever they think is very low to who they think is high, the reverse is on, okay? And if you go inside, people will find that you are the Messiah.
Yes.
Literally and physically and figuratively as well, in all aspects, from all angles, because within your DNA, the blood that you have, that you can keep those electrical circuits going on, and that heart pumping your blood, you eat it that way. You eat it figuratively, because you will get energy. And this is my holistic healthcare practitioner, Dr. Naturopath speaking, as well as from the heart of the lioness, who is the mother of the heart. Look, you got that DNA. That DNA has messengers within inside of it. So therefore, prove to yourself you're the Messiah. Okay? Within your RNA that has the messenger transmitters and receivers in it, done by the cell level, those amino acids. I want everybody to go out and get them 59,000 watermelons right now with the black seeds in it, the real seeds, not that phony shit. And go eat them up. And the rind too, and boil the rind, and let that come in, and eat those black seeds, and mix it with turmeric or whatever else with ginger, whatever else, because that's going to help you to stand up straight, because you're going to breathe better, you're going to look better, you're going to feel better, you're going to get energy from those amino acids that are the building blocks of the proteins. But first they must get it from the mitochondria of the DNA, which is the mama. So again, we're rising that feminine energy back and putting it on its throne, the rightful governor of the cell, that immediate cell that goes to be all the rest of your cells, but they replicate within the organs and the tissues to build your systems within yourself. So here we go. Fuck this system that's here, that you think is outside of you, that you think is real and it's not. And love yourself, L-U-V and L-O-V, and every other kind of way with real love. And give yourself a hug, as I say, because that's an alchemical response that gives you more energy, that gives you more confidence. And you stand alone. So if ain't nobody else around, you the shit. You the think you are the God.
That's right.
You the thing that keeps this whole thing running. And you are back to the one. So it's just all of those beautiful cycles. So we making it positivity. You the Messiah. You the prophet of yourself in your own home, which right now is what you think is your body. So that the physical body, but you got more than one body. And you multi and you everywhere about everything. So you the one who's omnipotent and omnipresent.
That's right.
So be that and love you and love everybody else, and that's all I wanted.
Good deed. Good deed. Thank you, sis. Love you very much. Okay, I'm going to put you back on mute. Thank you, sis. Very, very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the Reverend Ike. Now, he is some preacher. His clothing, and I got this video off of YouTube. His clothing looked like it was from the 70s, but somebody told me it was in the 80s. Yeah, and somebody told me dude was from the 80s, the early 80s.
Hey, you remember that old movie, I think it was Superfly, where he told me and said, I see you got your stuff on, meaning pimp clothes.
Yeah, because that's literally what his clothes look like to me. But so I thought the little video was from the 70s, but somebody said, no, that's from the early 80s. But, you know, whatever. So we're going to play his video, come back and chop it up, but then we're going to wrap it up to and conclude it. So here we go with Reverend Ike's take on things, family.
All right. I want to tell you how to use your mind power to get what you want now. I mean, right here in Atlanta, right here in Georgia, right there, wherever you are looking and listening. First of all, you have to use your mind power to believe in yourself. The religious people would say to me, oh, yes, Reverend Ike, you're telling people about believing in themselves, but what about believing in God? Well, who do you think God is? God has no personality except in man and as man. And God is not a big man in the sky. God is the real man in me. Let each person say this, because this is the truth of everyone. God is not a big man in the sky. God is the real man in me. We have another way of saying it, and I want to give you this prayer of affirmation to take with you so that you can have what you want now. God is the presence and power within me right now. Together, God is the presence and power within me right now. Another way that we can state it in this philosophy of the science of living is this: God is the mastermind working through me now. God is the mastermind working through me now. Come on, together. God is the mastermind working through me now. Oh, you're getting turned on. Now, people say, well, Reverend Ike, what about believing in God? Please hear this. Your faith is no good until you learn to have faith in yourself. How in the world can you believe in somebody in the sky and you don't even believe in the somebody in you? How in the world can you believe in a Jesus that walked in Galilee and not believe in the God that walks in you? Oh, I think we're getting through. Somebody say, wow. Say it again. I don't care how much faith you may have in a God in the sky until you learn to have faith in the God in you. Your faith is dead. It's no good to you. God in the sky is no good to you. Only God in you is of any value to you. The most important thing in the world is what you believe about yourself. That's the most important thing. Your entire experience is fabricated out of what you believe about yourself. And mind you, I always have to point this out. It is not important what other people believe about you. It's only important what you believe about yourself. And you see, you have to be the kind of person that you can believe in. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be truthful with yourself. You have to be decent within yourself. And then you can believe in yourself. I want to say something that may be a little rough for a clergyman to say again on international television. Once you learn to believe in yourself correctly, you are no longer worried about what other people are thinking or saying about you. Hear this. Until you learn to believe in yourself, regardless of what other people say or think, you're not going to get very far. As a matter of fact, you have got to come to that point in your experience where you know that your nose is clean, your business is straight, and you don't give a damn about what other people think about you. Excuse me, saints. Now, someone may be asking, well, Reverend Ike, how do I believe in myself? How do I go about it? Well, first of all, you have to believe that God is within you. Especially you religious people, hear this if you don't hear anything else. God does not work for you from up in the sky. God works for you from within your very own mind. And I want you to make a personal affirmation out of that. God works for me from within my very own mind. Come on, say that to yourself. God works for me from within my very own mind. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You know, I used to get down on my knees and pray all those nice little Sunday school prayers for years, trying to get a God in the sky to do something for me. And I didn't get very much until I learned that God wasn't working for me from up in the sky, but God is working for me from within my very own mind. And the verse of Scripture brings this out. Be you transformed how? By the renewing of your mind. You see, the thing about people is they don't want to change their thinking. They don't want to change their minds. People want to change everything but themselves. People know exactly what everybody else ought to do, but they don't know what the hell they ought to do. But you see, when you get into your own mind and you get a hold on yourself, then God, the mastermind in you, will lead you and guide you and tell you what to do. You know, people even know how to even know what God ought to do. People try to tell God what to do. Well, God changed this person, changed that person. God changed this, that, and the other. But they don't want to change their negative thinking. But you must be transformed, as the Bible says, how? By the renewing of your mind. Hear this, please. Everywhere the Bible says believe, it means believe in yourself. It means believe in the presence of God in you. It means believe in the power of God in you. When the Bible says believe in the Son of God, that's you. It means believe in yourself. You must also use your mind power to believe that you can be and do and have the good which you desire. The first step to achieving your desire is to believe that you can. So let me hear every one of you raise your hands and shout, I can. I can. Once again, I right, you're on the way. In the next few minutes, you'll be really turned on. And when I come back to Atlanta, you'll have some fantastic testimonies. Now, this is for religious people. You who are not religious, this may not be your hang-up. And with all due respect, let me say this. The people I have found in this world who have the worst hang-ups are the religious people. It is my experience that most of the time now, when I try to help people in this business of mind power, I have to first of all help them get rid of some of their religious hang-ups. And I've found out also, many times the more religious people are, the more hung up they are. So now here's one of the hang-ups that some religious people have that you must throw away. You see, you must believe that you deserve the good which you desire. But, you know, in the old religion, they would teach us to pray and say, Lord, I'm not worthy. I got you. Lord, I don't deserve your goodness. Now, let's all confess. How many of you have ever prayed like that? Let me put my hand up and confess. I have. As a matter of fact, I know some prayer books that are just full of all kind of prayers that tell God how bad we are. Well, Lord, I'm not worthy of a thing. As a matter of fact, in the Bible, there was one man who prayed and said, Lord, I'm not worthy of the least of your mercy. Let me cut you loose from that hang-up right now. Whenever you pray and say, Lord, I'd like to have such and such a thing, and right behind it you say, Lord, I'm not worthy, you might as well forget it. You're not going to get it. And here again, you know, there's one of those old hymns that they taught us to sing also. We would stand up and sing and say and call ourselves such a worm as I. Honey, that's dangerous. If you think of yourself as a worm, you're going to get the treatment that a worm gets. What happens to a worm? A worm gets what? Stepped on. Now you know why you're always getting stepped on. Believe that you're worthy. So let me give you this affirmation to shout with me as we go into the closing moments of this service. Shout with me, I am worthy of all of God's goodness. Come on together. I am worthy of all of God's goodness. I don't know why they taught me to pray that anyway. I think I deserve all of God's goodness. What do you mean I don't deserve it? You always get what you believe you deserve. If you don't believe you deserve anything, you're not going to get anything. Now listen, and this will help some of you young people and all of you. In Hollywood the other day, I spoke to a young man who's been trying to get ahead in his career. And he said, Reverend, I just have not been able to get ahead in my career like I would like to. He said, and Reverend, I'm looking for someone to believe in me. And I've replied to him in a sermon in these words. You have to first of all believe in yourself, and others will believe in you. You have no right to ask someone else to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself.
That's true.
Come on and say, wow. When you believe in yourself correctly and positively, then you can do what you want to do, have what you want to have, and nothing can hinder you. One additional point quickly here. You must use your mind power to decide clearly what you want. You would be surprised to know how many people haven't decided what they want. Another young man said to me a few years ago, someone offered him a 4-year scholarship to college, and he was talking to me about it. And he said, Reverend, he said, someone has offered me a 4-year scholarship to college, full paid scholarship. And he said, but Reverend, I have no goals. If someone said to me, what's your ambition, what's your goal? I couldn't tell them because I have no goals. Decide what you want to be, to do, and to have. And the moment you decide what you want, things will start clicking in your favor. Use your mind power. Because a man is a slave until he learns to use his mind. A man is ignorant until he learns the power of his mind and how to use it for his good. A man is lost in spite of his religion until he learns the power of his mind and how to use it for his good. And it doesn't matter how much religion you have. You're lost in spite of your religion until you learn to use your mind. It doesn't matter how much formal education you have. A man is ignorant until he learns to use his mind in order to be, to do, and to have the good which he desires.
All right, family. So again, that was that's a video that is floating around Facebook, and it's just simply titled Reverend Ike. So I'll pause a little bit in case if the family wants to put something on it.
Indeed. Yeah, I shared that on Facebook myself. He was hitting points. He hit no point after point, and that was back in the early 80s.
Okay, yeah, that's what somebody said. He was dressed like the 70s, but they said it was the 80s. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I asked. We got a new Rev Mike. Well, yeah, that's Rev Mike right there. But you know what? The question that we need to ask is, why is that little video from that time period surfacing again at this particular time?
Yeah. Yeah, because when I first saw it, I thought it was from the 70s, and I said, oh, wow, I guess he was ahead of his time. And I said, no, well, really, he was right on time, but people were not receptive to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so now that we are in this age, and if you think about it, they say that we are in the age of information, we are in the age of messaging. So that's really what the age of Messiah meant. The message.
Yep.
That you go within yourself to rise above whatever you desire. It's the message. That's the Messiah. Nothing outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Being capable of receiving the message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I thought that was a very interesting, very powerful video for this man to be addressing a congregation. I'm going to close out with one last video, but before I do, I just want to say that, and we kind of touched on this last week, but, each one of us, we have our own story, and, some of our story, it includes pain, betrayal, tragedy, loss, as well as joy, peace, and happiness. In order for us to come out of the spell and trap, we have to create the reality that we want to be in. Anytime that we're searching outside of self for answers, and rather that is we're searching outside of self through a relationship, religion, organization, and or Messiah, you will never find or rise above to conquer what you are seeking. You are the change that you want to see. I learned from me that no one is coming to save me. I have everything within me to save and create what I want. All that I need is within me. And oftentimes you hear folks say, you know, how do we come together? How do you change the world? You change the world by being the change you want to see. And we've said this several times on this show. You see it, you believe it, you say it, and it shall be. So the Messiah, that SS, that serpent concept, is the message. It's going within, activating your Kundalini energy to tap into the higher realms, to create your reality from the higher realms. So before I go into the last video, which is a powerful testimony from a sister, and I'm calling it the I Am My Rescue video, I'll go around and see if my co-hosts have any last words they want to put on it. Sis, you have any last words you want to share with the family? Uh-oh, she might have dropped off. She did. Let me see here. Yep. She dropped off. Oh, this might be. Well, no. Okay, sis, I'm not sure if that's you. Yeah, there you go. I see you. You did *1. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Oh,
hey, sis.
I was there holding.
Yeah, I scrolled down. I said, is that her? Okay, she needs to get in.
I was listening to Reverend Ike. I think I remember him when I was a kid. And,
wow.
You know, they was notorious. But that was the first time I ever heard him. And I have to say the man is right on point.
Mm-hmm.
What a man thinks, so is he. So if you can't make it, you won't make it. And my sister told me one time, you're such a dreamer. You're always dreaming. But if you don't dream about something, you don't get anything.
Right. You don't create.
You don't create. You have to make this life what you want it to be. And if you're in the negative, you're going to stay in the negative. So people need to understand that the inside of you is where the power lies. It don't lie in these yahoos who call themselves the voice of God or the messiahs or the leaders or the prophets. It's in you. You create your life. You create your environment. You make your life hell or you can make it good. But it's all about you.
Indeed.
What a man, so is he. And that's all I have to say. I love that one.
Thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. Brother Sean, you have any last words for the family?
Indeed. Just taking an aspect again, starting from language. These entities or energies that are worshipped were given a name, and we gave them life. Believing in them. And if we're the all, that's an aspect of us that was pulled from out of us.
That's right.
And we were led to believe that it was something else. Everybody keep talking about becoming as one and united. But you're scared to accept your quote-unquote darker half. You yet to accept accountability and responsibility for the dark things that you've done as ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
We can keep placing blame, saying this, saying that, we created everything. So, I mean, we just put a spell on our damn self.
Yeah.
Forgot how to undo it.
True that.
We give everything power. So that means we can shut down everything by simply taking the power away from it.
Right.
But
Indeed.
you give all your energy into being a slave and then look for something outside of you to save you. And you don't realize that it's the power of a God that's enslaving yourself.
Right. Indeed. Indeed. Thank you, Brother Sean. Brother Wendell, you have any last words for the family?
Yeah, just hang in there and keep one thing in mind, that a trick is a trick is a trick, but you can control that trick if you want to.
Indeed. Indeed. So, okay, family, we will be back next week. I am going to play one last clip. We're going to leave out with it. It's a very powerful message called I Am My Rescue. But we will be back next week, and the topic is going to be about quantum computing. So we're going to talk about some dimensional things and what is really going on when you hear that term quantum computing. Okay, so let me play this clip real fast because I do want you to leave with this sister's powerful testimony. I am my rescue. Love you very much. It's probably going to cut off.
I was at rock bottom. I was broke and I was broken. I got fired from 5 different jobs. Yeah. And then I got pregnant with my son unexpectedly. And then at 8 months, my son's father went to prison. And when my son was 8 months old, I went to the ATM to get $20 out the bank because I didn't have any Pampers for him. And in order to get $20 out, you got that $20 in. I had $11.42. And I still can't tell the story without getting emotional because it's my story. For 2 days, I had to wrap my son in a towel. But something happened, Steve, in those 2 days. My son laying on his back at 8 months, I have a towel over him, and I have my hand on his stomach saying, "Don't you worry, Jaylani. Mommy will never be this broke again." And I made a decision. I was bankrupt. And every stinking thinking I had, I was bankrupt in trying to protect my pride. I was bankrupt in trying to be all that in a bag of chips and a bowl of grits falsified. I was bankrupt in trying to not ask anyone for help. I was bankrupt in everything that was holding me and keeping me where I was. I've always talked a good game, but I wasn't doing anything with my gift. And all that thing about potential, I was tired of having potential. I wanted to have my now. And I looked at that baby at 8 months, and I said, I want to transform your life. Because you didn't ask to come into this chaos. As an African-American male child in South Central Los Angeles, with a single mother whose father's in prison, he had a 66% chance of going to prison himself. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. So I have to be willing to drastically transform myself so that I can become the woman that I know I can be. Right. And that's what I began to do. I was radical. See, my grandmother said that conviction and comfort don't live in the same block. If you're going to be convicted about something, you might have to go through some discomfort. But if you want to stay comfortable, why don't you just relax where you are, because that's where you're going to stay. Right. And so are you willing to reinvent who you are? Are you willing to kill away the procrastination? Are you willing to kill away the excuses, the blame game? I never let people call me a single mom by my title. I'm Lisa Nichols, who happens to be a single mother. Don't define me by my circumstances. Define me by my intentions. At some point, I have to stop asking, can I be great? Can I be brilliant? Can I be okay and still be accepted? I just stopped asking permission and just gave notice unapologetically, not in a braggadocious way, not in a way that shrunk anyone else, in a way that said, I only got one life, and I'm going to ride this one till the wheels fall off. And that was the beginning of me rescuing myself. I realized that I am my rescue. No one else is my rescue. I am my rescue.
Okay, family. So with that said, thank you very much. Love you very much. And we will see you next week. Peace and love. Good night.